It's time for Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sportstime is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stat Scoresworthy and Brian Davis.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. Connor with us producing. We're Sports Time, and we're with you for the next 3 hours. A lot to get into today. A lot of NFL news, a lot of college football news. Also, Olympics still going on right now. Team USA men's basketball in a quarterfinals matchup against Brazil. They're up 40-21 right now, looking to try to get to the semifinals. Last game of the quarterfinals, as a lot of those happen. Had the 2 o'clock game, 4 o'clock game, had a 10:30 game, and then now concluding the quarterfinal round with this one. Looks like Team USA will cruise to a victory over Brazil. But a ton to get into today. But Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing well. Were you a little surprised that Canada lost?
No, not really. I thought France and Canada really both seemed like they were kind of on even playing fields with each other. I felt like neither was a huge competitor to Team USA. I thought it was Team USA, and then that was the top tier, and then the tier under them was probably France and Canada, and maybe Germany in there. So I was not surprised. I think Germany has not looked good these Olympics, but they have guys that if they can turn it on, they can be a good team, and you saw them turn it on for most of that game in the quarterfinals earlier. I know Canada made it really close down the stretch, but not able to win that game. So I wasn't surprised. I've kind of been a little disappointed with that Canada team, but now we'll see what happens with Team USA. I thought
Germany beat Greece.
They did, yes, earlier today.
And Canada beat France.
No, France beat Canada.
France beat Canada.
Correct.
Okay,
yes.
Correct.
Yes, and then the other one was Serbia over Australia, I believe. So,
in overtime.
Mm-hmm. So a lot of good action today, and I believe tomorrow we'll have women's quarterfinals for basketball. So a lot of good stuff on the hardwood.
United States gets Serbia. I know they've got Nikola Jokic, but that's about it.
Yeah, and we saw that, first game. We saw it in exhibition, and then we saw it first game of the Olympics, and it really did not look very close. It was close early. I know USA went down like 10-2 or something like that, but then after that it was pretty much all USA. So I don't think that's going to be a really difficult battle for Team USA. I've already given them the gold. I don't think they're going to lose, and I think it's going to be fairly easy.
And it has been easy. The one thing that's hurt them, and I don't know that they did or didn't in Olympics of yesteryear, I don't think they did. I sure don't think they did with amateurs, but I would love to ask Bruce Marshall or people that would know, did we have odds on Dream Team in 92 and on the good team in 96 and in the years that Mike Krzyzewski dominated as head coach? I wouldn't imagine they did as amateurs, but I don't know that. But that's what the United States, they're playing against that. They're playing against those big Vegas point spreads. They're taking care of business easily. They're just not getting there. And Brian, our minds now are very much, they didn't cover.
Sure, yeah, and John.
But they've steamrolled.
Exactly, and John and I were talking about that earlier today, and not really more of the gambling side of it, but I think goes hand in hand of point differential in the preliminary rounds in the group stage of you want to try to blow out your opponents, and that definitely helps the spreads, but you want to blow your opponents out so that you can get higher seeding and stuff like this. Now when we're here to the actual bracket of it, who cares about I don't even know what the point spread was for this game. I could care less. All I care about is that they
26
win.
26.5.
How about that? Wow. I
that's outrageous.
That's pretty big, but who cares? I just want them to win. You
I'm
win
with
the
you.
game, and that's all that matters in my book.
And it's all that matters, and that's part of I would imagine part of the frustration and maybe reluctance for some, especially ones that have done it a couple of times, to want to do it again because the bar set so high that if they don't clear it by 58 feet, they're kind of deemed as, you weren't that good. No. We trucked everybody. Okay, so we didn't cover. I don't think they've covered a single point spread, have they?
Yeah, they might not have. I've only really paid attention to that one.
Who cares?
South Sudan, but yeah, I don't. I think. If you're betting the Olympics, that's,
medal stand, gold medal, national anthem playing.
That's right.
It is all that matters, and especially after last year, last summer in the Philippines.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of people really wanted to see USA dominate and kind of really flex their muscles this year after what happened in FIBA last year. And, definitely a different team. You didn't see this type of star power on that FIBA team last year, but you still wanted them to come out and let the international basketball world know, hey, no. USA might have lost in FIBA, but they're still here, and the Olympics a great stage to show that off, and that's exactly what they've been doing. Looks like they'll have another easy win today against Brazil, and I think will make it look easy to a gold medal.
It's a little bit of the dynamic that's around the PGA Tour players for the United States around the Ryder Cup. If they don't go and play, they just get drilled. If they don't go and play, and I don't mean this at all ugly, but really wrap themselves in the flag and say and do, and I hope mean it, all the right things, they get ripped. Where they might want to just say, I don't need this. I don't have to do this. My job, and especially if you've done it, if you've served, if I've gone and played, why do I need the noise?
Yeah, no, I mean it's a great point. It's kind of that double-edged sword of you're trying to do one thing and then it still comes back on you, and it's just a very weird situation to be in. But I'll be honest, I think we need to stop talking about the basketball game because now Brazil has cut it to an 8-point game. I'm not worried, but hey.
We didn't do it. We didn't do it.
Brett,
Connor may have, but we didn't.
I don't know. Connor's the one that texted me and said it's 8-point game now, and that kind of
42-34. He's correct. No,
yes.
I don't think we caused that, and I think they'll pull away and be just fine. They're going to a review. They have to walk about 10 miles to get to the review stand.
There's no hustle or anything when it comes to reviews. I mean, they take
no
their
urgency,
sweet time. There's zero
they
urgency.
Just kind of saunter over there and saunter back.
And take a good couple looks at it and then come back out. And you're right. It is a long walk over to those monitors.
Might be the Olympic sport someday, walking over to the review stand.
Well, walking's already an Olympic sport, so now
Very
you
much.
just gotta get one that's just walking to the
Did you watch any
stand.
of the walking?
I did actually.
Well, they're getting it, aren't they?
They sure are.
They're walking faster than I can run.
Well, that's the thing, Brett, because I was watching it. It was one day,
which is a very low bar.
Over the weekend, maybe I don't remember when it was, but they were walking. It started at like 1:00 in the morning. I just had happened to still be up, and so I was like, I'm gonna turn this on. I was like, they are not walking. I mean, this is a cool jog that they are doing right now. And then they were trying, because I guess it was so early in the broadcast, they were trying to explain what exactly qualifies as a walk and what qualifies as more of a jog, and how you can be kind of disqualified. There is a difference. Something about the bending of the knee, and so I think walking, you have to kind of keep straight legs or something like that. Very, very confusing. I wasn't really following.
I don't know that I could outrun them.
No. I don't know. I mean, they're definitely moving, because when I saw walking, I was like, oh man, I could at least be in the bunch. But no, they are. It's,
like you're over,
it does not look like
gallivanting through Overton Park.
It definitely looks like they are running, but
it does, and all the movement almost like a piston.
Yes, it absolutely is. It's interesting, but yes, walking is one of the more interesting Olympic sports, I think you could say. That and speed climbing. Oh man. Or sport climbing. I forget what they exactly call it. That is thrilling. I mean, that was yesterday. It was awesome.
Now, no doubt, I asked last week, in dubious, in a question, was the rapids man-made or natural? No doubt man-made.
Yeah, man-made for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would, but that's also fun. All the kayaks and canoes and everything. That's fun. One of them has like a 15-foot drop into the water, and then they start racing each other. I mean, that's good stuff.
It is. It is. But United States, they're taking care of business right now against Brazil, and this has to be the last one for LeBron James at that age. He has said he's not going to be anywhere near Los Angeles in 4 years.
No.
Just traffic, everything.
Smart.
And he's done it. I mean, I don't know how he could be at all criticized.
No, there's no way. He's been great, and he's been one of the best players on this team throughout the Olympics. It's him and Kevin Durant that have really led the way. And watching even some of the exhibition games, but definitely some of the actual Olympic games earlier in group play, the first, second games that they played. LeBron James by far was the best player on the court to start those games. When they were kind of struggling out the gates, because that kind of became a trend for this team of slow starts, and then they would really put it on. But he, among all these stars, he was very clearly the best player on the court, and so no, I don't think you can criticize him at all for anything he's done. He's been unbelievable throughout the Olympics, and like you said, likely his last one, and it will be a great outing for him, I think.
Ring the bell. The camp fights are going.
Oh, man, they sure are. Yesterday with the Lions and the Giants and
they
Daniel
play
Jones
Thursday
getting
night.
Involved. That's right. And they, I was watching NFL Network this morning, and they were kind of talking about it, how a lot of times with these teams, when they do joint practices before the preseason game, they'll do 2 days and then the exhibition, which Giants and Lions will be Thursday night. But a lot of times, if you have a lot of scuffles and stuff like we saw yesterday between those two teams, the kind of coaches will kind of come together and say, all right, today was fun. Let's just do our own thing tomorrow, and then we'll see y'all in the exhibition. Not the Giants and the Lions. They had everything happen yesterday, and they said, let's get back at it tomorrow. So they've been out there today, and they'll have an exhibition Thursday night. And so I'm excited about that, because watching those videos was a lot of fun last night.
But I think you're a dumb team for doing that. I would have the Belichick, Saban principle. That's two pretty good ones.
Sure, yeah.
That did not allow it.
Yeah, it's interesting, and certainly the Giants and the Lions was interesting because it was, at least the one I saw. I know there were a couple of them, but it was rookie receiver Malik Neighbors who went for a route, and pass got broken up, and he comes back and he's kind of adjusting his jersey and just kind of throws a hand to the face mask of a Lions DB, and that just started everything. It was on.
And Daniel Jones was in the middle of it.
Yeah, and which is very interesting. You definitely don't see quarterbacks do that. You don't want your quarterback in the middle of that.
I didn't know he had been fully cleared from his knee injury.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially, like you said,
how dumb is
coming
that?
back from that,
and Daniel Jones knows. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to let him get hit.
No, not at all.
Danny Dimes is not whipping anybody in a camp fight.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because they were interviewing Daboll this morning on NFL Network, and they were like, "Man, what was up with that yesterday? Daniel Jones getting active yesterday," and he was like, "Yeah, once all that was done, he was sitting over on a bench, and I went over to him. I said, what do you think you're going to do against those linemen? I mean, you're not whipping up on any of those linemen." And they kind of laughed, and he said, I love the energy, I love the fight, but we gotta keep you healthy, and let's not do that again."
It's a little performative. It's a little fake, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Because he knows he can throw the first punch or say the first thing, and at the closest sign of retaliation, his offensive linemen are jumping in there bouncers.
Absolutely. But I think Daniel Jones, kind of needed something like that. I think that'll help him in terms of that fan base and what they think of Daniel Jones. I think that will give him
the performative part.
A little boost. He might have needed that.
That I really reject. Now, is the backup still DeVito?
Oh, geez. I guess it probably is.
Did you know he was Italian?
No, Brett. Actually,
I
hadn't heard that. Huh.
Last year,
yeah. Huh.
I don't know if he just realized it last year, but
yes, no, definitely Italian, and definitely loves.
Certainly played on that all year.
Do you know his agent is also very Italian? And,
that's right.
Yes,
he
he loves to share that he's Italian.
They love telling everybody.
Yes, they do.
Here's what I think the Giants fans would gravitate more to instead of kind of brawling. How about winning?
Yes, that would be nice. And Brett, we're wrong. Drew Lock is now QB2 for the New York Giants. So he is.
Where's DeVito?
Third string. That little run he went on last year, I guess wasn't good enough to keep him at QB2. Still a lot of time left though in the preseason. He can make that jump.
It was a whole bunch of nothing.
Yeah, no, it definitely was. But yeah, Drew Lock comes over. I forgot about that. That was a big thing during Hard Knocks that they signed Drew Lock as their backup quarterback, and they made a big deal about that.
For the people that wonder, and which there aren't many, and most of them don't matter, did Eli Manning really make a difference? You think the Giants have missed him?
Yes, very much so.
We only had those two playoff runs that led to Super Bowl. What have they had since then?
That position has not been the same since he's left. It has been nowhere close to what he brought to that franchise.
Except for Kerry Collins. What did they have right before him?
Literally nothing. I think you ask any New York Giant fan, and they would take Eli Manning over Daniel Jones and any other quarterback that they have on their roster or
and
have had
at the same
on their
time,
roster.
Tell me about all the Jet success in New York City.
That's a great point as well.
It's a short chapter.
It definitely is. So, no, that is definitely.
Speaking of the Jets, we rank AFC East quarterbacks today.
Jets. How about that?
We got it
and
today.
Coaches.
And coaches.
That's right. So, a little bit of both. I'll just throw this out there. I have one of coach or quarterback from the Jets at number 1 on one of my lists. So just be ready. Can't tell you which one it is, but just be ready. It's there.
Is today a copy and paste day for everybody?
I don't think so. It could be. Quarterback could be a copy and paste day.
Pretty good division, isn't it?
It's a good division. It's a really good division.
I don't think there's a Super Bowl. I don't think there's a Super Bowl winning team in it.
No, I don't.
But I've showed my hand on what I think of the Dolphins.
Oh yeah, I think this is definitely going to be a very competitive division, and definitely could make some noise in the AFC. But let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Jeff Brightwell from the Tiger Football Network will join us as we're getting closer to Tiger football season. We got to talk about the upcoming season, what to keep an eye on, storylines through camp. Get into a lot with Jeff in our next segment. 3:45, we'll talk some more Olympics. By then, we'll have a better idea of what Team USA is doing against Brazil. 4 o'clock, Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville. He'll join us, talk a lot of college football. We had the coaches poll released yesterday, so we'll have to get his thoughts on that. Also, the saga going on at Michigan. Definitely get his thoughts on that as well. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. It's kind of a slim day yesterday of games. We did have the Cardinals falling to the Mets. White Sox lose another game, so it was a very busy day in the baseball world despite not being a ton of action. A really good slate tonight as well. 4:45, we get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Bo Marchant will join us to talk the NFL. He was at the Hall of Fame game last week, so we'll get his thoughts on what he saw through 3 quarters and also the new kickoff rules that he got to see in person. Also a ton of other NFL news, and we'll get to our AFC East quarterback and coach rankings. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending, and at 5:45, we'll wrap up today's show like we always do with Crunch Time. Let me remind you, we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Summer is here and it's time to party, so get over to Family Leisure for great deals like the 24-foot above-ground pool for $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and robotic cleaners, 20% off. Select in-stock patio furniture up to 50% off. Play gyms up to $1,000 off, and patio umbrellas 20% off. Also, 4-person hot tubs only $29.99. And don't forget about the discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while supplies last. So head over to Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
Connor producing. We're Sportstime with Bryant and Brett, and we want you to be a part of it at 901-360-8255. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line. All our guests will appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line at 901-360-8255. And as always, we are from our Family Leisure Studios. And every day at this time, hour number 1, 3 to 4, sponsored by our friends at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Lexus of Memphis right now offering the Golden Opportunity Summer Sales Event. Call them at 901-334-9673, but stop by the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500, and you'll be driving in style. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, Brett, my top story of the day has got to be the Olympics. And look at Team USA, 63-36. Now, see, Brett, what happens? We stop talking about them, and they just
Connor was
turn
right.
on. I'm telling you.
Told us to pipe it down.
Exactly. Things were getting a little too close for comfort. We stopped talking about them, and what happens?
Y'all believe in the good luck chair in the TV watching room, don't you?
Of course, absolutely, Brett. I mean, you've got to. But it was a big day at the Olympics for the United States in the team events. A lot of Team USA teams playing today. Women's volleyball played earlier. They got the win in their quarterfinals matchup. Women's soccer, Team USA took on Germany. They got the win in the semifinals. Women's water polo, Team USA going right now in quarterfinals, and men's basketball going in their quarterfinal game against Brazil, as that game just went to halftime. But you look at what they've been doing, and Team USA really starting to turn it on. A massive lead in overall medals with 85. The next closest is China with 58. But now gold medals, we've been talking a lot about that. I've heard a lot of people very upset about how Team USA has been performing in terms of gold medals. I heard it a lot when it came to swimming. The lack of gold medals was alarming to some people, and the fact that USA was not in first place for gold medals was troubling to some people. Well, now Team USA has a 1 gold medal lead over the People's Republic of China. USA has 23, China has 22, and then the next closest is Australia with 14. So Team USA really starting to turn it on as we get into the last week of the Olympics.
Brian, we all look very forward to the Olympics, and they've lived up to it. Yeah, there's always going to be controversy. There's always going to be not so great story, but at least so far, this has been played under the umbrella of a lot of safety. We want to finish that out until the Olympic cauldron goes dark. We want to stay safe. My top story, USA basketball at the Olympics in Paris today in the Elite Eight game. We know it is the quarterfinals. The Olympics against Brazil and cruising. Germany already winners over Greece. Semis on Thursday. It'll be the United States against Serbia. And it'll be Germany against France, right? Mm-hmm. This is a little soon for France to already be in this position to maybe medal. They're going to be something to deal with in 4 years. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be hard to deal with in 4 years. I tell you another one's going to be hard to deal with in 4 years. The United States. This goes to show. It's really a good microcosm of us writ large in the world. We put our mind to something and we commit to it, whether it's swimming and diving or walking or handball or basketball or long jump or anything else. We can accomplish it when we all pull together. Are we perfect? No. Have we made mistakes historically? Yes, horrible ones, really embarrassing ones. But when we get it right, we really get it right. And in 4 years, all the teams to look out for the United States in 4 years.
Oh, absolutely.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day has got to be Major League Baseball action from last night. Cardinals going in the wrong direction. Another loss for them in a makeup game against the Mets. Also, the White Sox, another loss for them as that losing streak continues.
Connor, that's two references about your Southsiders.
I mean,
I mentioned it before we started. That hits the over, doesn't it? I mean, we've already.
I think so. I'm sure we'll bring it up again during our baseball segment at 4:30. Well, I mean, it's big news. I mean, the White Sox now have 21 losses in a row. That ties the 1988 Orioles for the longest losing streak in AL history. Now only one team has more consecutive losses in the history of baseball with 23. Hopefully the White Sox can get a win against the Athletics if there's a team to do it against. The A's seem like the team to be, but
the A's are only $1.90 favorite.
I mean, so maybe the time is now. But Kai Busch last night, he gets his first Major League Baseball start.
I can't bet on breaking a 21-gamer though.
It's tough, but I mean, it's got to break at some point, Brett. I mean, you gotta be strategic and try to figure out when it was.
Why can't it be 31?
Well, I mean, it could. But eventually, I mean, they're not going to lose for the rest of history. I mean, They got to win at some point.
It get very expensive getting that one
true.
right, though.
That's true. And you've been there before, right? You've bet on
With
a,
the
on a
88
team.
Orioles.
Yes. So, I mean, you know from experience. So, I don't think I will be trying to bet the White
Cal
Sox to get a
Ripken's
win.
dad was the skipper of the Orioles that year.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Yikes. That's not great.
Yeah, and Cal Ripken had to endure that.
Yeah, and also,
player.
John was telling me earlier, Gavin Sheets, who plays for the White Sox right now, obviously he's going through this long losing streak. His father was on that Orioles team, and so father and son both going through 21-game losing streaks. That's tough.
Ben Sheets, who Chris Berman's nickname on SportsCenter, you know what it was for Ben Sheets?
I can only imagine. What was it?
Ben Satin Sheets.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
It was great. My not top story about time. My not top. Sorry for catching you mid swallow there. My not top story. I'm sorry. I'm glad we got Connor, but I'm sorry Darian's not here. The 49ers really going to let this happen with Brandon Ayuk? They are, aren't they?
Yes, they are. It's crazy.
The Browns get him. I won't say they can win the Super Bowl, but I can say they can get to an AFC championship game.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of good pieces. And Patriots want him. Imagine going from the 49ers to the Patriots in the total rebuild there. Kyle Shanahan is cold-blooded, and I don't blame him because he thinks he can make it work with almost anybody. And I know he thinks he can make it work with Deebo Samuel and rookie from Florida, Ricky Pearsall, and Juwan Jennings. Remember, Juwan Jennings threw a touchdown in the Super Bowl last year. And then the news breaks later this afternoon that Christian McCaffrey now shut down for a little while. Doesn't look like anything long-term. But the Niners, they play the Jets on Monday Night Football to start the season. That will be good Monday Night Football stuff.
Oh, it absolutely will be. And this Brandon Ayuk situation's interesting because this morning all the reports were it's down to the Browns and the Patriots. There's framework for trade deals for both of those teams, and that the Steelers were out. And then this afternoon, I'm starting to see reports come back up that here come the Steelers again. They're trying to get involved
again. We'll get Bo's
again.
take on that.
So we'll definitely have to talk to Bo about that in a couple of hours. But that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we're talking Tiger football with Jeff Brightwell.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Tigerville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
For retro cruiser styling packed with modern innovations, riders of all skill levels choose a Honda Rebel. Incredible motorcycles with a stripped-down style and a full package of features. Both the 300 and the 500 offer compact power inside a lightweight frame. Combined with a low slim seat, the Rebel is easy to start on. And with new colors from this year, they are impossible to ignore. Go to DeSoto Honda to check out the 2023 Honda Rebels. Cruisers with timeless style and performance to enjoy every second. Use the street as a racetrack with the law of the
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings have an extra 20% below Genesis everyday price.
That's right, the vault is open and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
The GIA is the gold standard of diamond values, certified accuracy and documented quality, so you can buy with confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event from 8 karat up to 20 karat stones.
Ships, cards, and bonds are on special cuts, shapes, and consequences. Strong value price on a GIA
a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, no-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapor Stick. Soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapor Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors. Use as directed. Vapor Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapor Shower Max used for adults only.
Jenkins Floors and More invite you to their retail warehouse where they pass wholesale savings on to you. Jenkins Floors in Little Rock, Cleveland, Mississippi, and now open in Horn Lake at 2356 West Goodman Road. Specializing in flooring and carpeting, tile, plantation shutters, and blinds, Jenkins makes your life easy with a 2-week turnaround. Contractors, builders, or family projects, call 662-469-9350 for a free estimate. Owners Timmy and Rebecca Jenkins say hello to Sports 56 fans and look forward to your business.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with the players and officials. Our coverage of TPC Southwind on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Carterville. Also sponsored by Town Village Auto and Park, Wilson's Power Wash, Wade Incorporated, North Mississippi John Deere Dealer, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, and Jason's Deli.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stott, Norsworthy, and Brian Davis.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now to talk some Tiger football, Jeff Brightwell from the Tiger Football Network joins us now. A lot of excitement of this upcoming season and what this Tiger team can do. Jeff, thanks so much for joining us. I got to start off, what are some of the storylines that you're looking forward to the most as this team starts fall camp?
I just think is the health of the team going to, stay consistent throughout the year. I know that's kind of cliche, but that's going to be a big determining factor as is with any team. Can a team stay healthy? Look, let's face it, we've had a great senior run, starting with Paxton, going into Ferguson, into Brady White, and now Seth Hennigan, where, we've, knock on wood, kept quarterbacks healthy, and, that's not the easiest thing to do. I think we've only lost 2 games. One year, it may have been Seth's first year, and then a game at Cincinnati during the Brady White era where we've had to go to the backup quarter to start a game. So you stay healthy. I don't think that there's any reason this team can't be successful. It's lofty expectations this year, obviously, but we're definitely looking forward to it.
Jeff, that's just a great point about not only this run of quarterbacks, but the run of quarterbacks with their health. And you're right, Seth. I think it was down at Central Florida, maybe on a Friday night that he was was out, and just not many more. You go around the country and starting with Paxton, even the 2013 season from his first start on, we're just talking a massive number of games. Nobody gets that.
No, you played what since let's just say 2013 since Paxton took over at quarterback. That was the 3-9 year. That was the year that they were so close in so many games. But you've gone on an 11-year run where you played 4 quarterbacks, and you won't look at successful programs, and that's what you see a consistency in the health of the quarterback. Running backs get banged up, offensive lines move around, defenses are what they are. But if you can keep that quarterback healthy and you have good ones like we've been fortunate to have, you can have a lot of success. And especially, Brett, the American. Let's not mince words. We're not a P5 league. We're certainly not one of the P2 right now. So the American is an offensive league. If you go back to the history of the American, outside that Cincinnati team that went to the playoffs, it's hard to find teams, whether they're in the Mountain West or the American, that have been able to be, dominant on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
So you roll your dice and put it on the offense.
You put it on the offense, it comes through. And when I say this, I mean it. I mean it trying to be funny and be lighthearted more than I do disrespectfully. Not at all disrespectfully, but there hadn't been many occasions for the Billy Bearfield games, has it?
No, those were those are fun times, and it's a shame Tommy's never going to get. I mean, I hope and I think last year when they had that reunion of the 2003 team, I think the people finally, started giving Tommy some credit for what he did. I mean, you go 31 years without a bowl, and he went to 5 in 7 years, and that was an era. Look, it is what it is. I'm not blaming the administration. We don't have the resources that we have now, but had we been able to push the chips in on football in the D'Angelo years like we did when we hired Justin Fuente and Tom Bowman came in as the director of athletics. Remember, Brad Martin was the interim president before we hired Rudd. What Tommy could have really done.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jeff, I'm curious, when I talk to people about this upcoming football season, a lot of people want to bring up the defense. They have questions about this defense after last season. Silverfield promotes Jordan Hankins. We kind of got our first glimpse of him in that bowl win over Iowa State. What do you think this defense will look like? New defensive coordinator. You added a handful of guys to that defensive unit. What will they look like after all the talk this offseason of the offense?
Well, it's interesting. Jordan did the post-practice media day yesterday at camp over at the indoor practice facility, and questions were, what's the defense going to look like? What are you going to run? And Jordan. He held his cards pretty close to the vest as far as any kind of formation or what sets he's going to run in defense. He says, "Look, I'm putting my best 11 out on the field." He's excited. I mean, you got solid defensive line, really deep linebacker room with Chandler, and you got Elijah Herring coming in from Tennessee, Daryl Minor from Indiana. He should be stacked in the defensive backfield this year. But, I mean, other than him saying, I'm going to put the best 11 out there at a time, depending on the situation, that's all we got. And I know people want to hear, are we going to play a 4-man front or a 3-man front? How much you're going to blitz? How much you're going to stunt? I do think talent-wise the defense is one of the deeper defenses we've had here in a while. It's interesting. Last year in that Iowa State game, we had talked to him the day before in the broadcast meeting, and he again played it close to the played his cards close. He goes, I can't change anything in 2 weeks, so we're just going to go out there and play. And really, when you look at the base last year, he changed the look prior to the snap, but they pretty much ran the same defense. They just changed the look at the line of scrimmage when the quarterback would come up.
Jeff, for you, let's make it all personal. For you, a Memphian through and through, Harding Academy. You go to the University of Memphis, graduate from the University of Memphis. You've worked for the University of Memphis. You've called every sport that can be called for the University of Memphis. When you go out there and you see those facilities now, and you see that team, and you see the look of that team, and it looks like a big time team and a big time program. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel sitting here on the verge of maybe this rocket ship you're getting ready to get on this year?
It's awesome. I mean, let's face it. The last 10 years, I was talking to someone else the other day that even if you have a 6-win season, if that's going to be the basement, then from my end, I'm going to be 52 here in a couple of weeks. So I'm a child of the '80s, born in '72, Gen Xer. Look, we didn't grow up with a whole lot of success. I mean, you'd have the occasional win over USC or Florida or Alabama.
Bryant's the one that spoiled, Jeff.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Or you tie, you tie Florida State, and that's what you live off of, a bunch of 4 or 5 win seasons where you might upset somebody back then. I mean, right now in the last decade, in my opinion, we're living the glory years. Yeah. I mean, if our basement's 6 wins a couple of years ago when we're rebuilding, man, I'll take that all day long. You go over there and look at the facilities now, and they've got some stuff that's going to be coming here. Obviously, we saw that 2020 campaign that Laird Beach announced a couple years ago, and there's still things that are going to be built here in the future over there. But you see what we have now. It's amazing. I mean, you feel like not only do we have good teams and good coaches, but we've got it. We just got it going, and it feels great. I mean, you find kids now that will want to come here regardless of the sport. And the way that Park Avenue campus has changed, you've seen it, Brett. You've seen it change over the years. That we had I'm not going to name the baseball coach. It wasn't one of ours. It was a visiting baseball coach. It was early when I came back to Memphis in the 03-04 season that drove the team bus for this visiting team, drove on that Park Avenue campus and said, this looks like a penal farm. And it doesn't look like that anymore. Wow. I mean, but back then, you saw a lot of rusty old fences and some barbed wire. It's definitely come light years.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you mentioned, being able to sign players that you would have never dreamt about years ago, and a big part of that has been obviously NIL and the partnership with FedEx and what they're doing for the university. What did you make of that when you heard that announcement of kind of the buy-in that FedEx was going to give this football team and the other athletic athletic teams in this department?
Well, between just the Smith family doing everything for the stadium, and then of course, obviously on FedEx, and FedEx goes all in on the NIL. It's been an exciting. Fred's always been close to the program. His son played here, and even before that, he was big into the program. You'd see him at ball games and see him at road games, but to see him now wanting to do, taking that next step with the stadium, with the NIL, and obviously it made an immediate impact. I believe it was just a couple of days after they made that announcement, they were able to announce that Elijah Herring from Tennessee had signed. So you hear from people that, Ryan does such a good job with the relationship aspect, but it's still a balance. Mm-hmm. And in this day and age, you got to have the money. But I think the young men now. There's always going to be someone that's out there for the money grab. Let's face it. There's always going to be people that see purely dollar signs. But I think. And I talk about this, and Brett, you can talk to this, because I think the high school athletes, when they get into college now, are much more savvy than they were 20 or 30 years ago. Number one, there's more media, whether you go to AAU, a high school athletics. When you interview a freshman in college now, they're polished. There's not a lot of and stuttering and mumbling. They are polished on how to do interviews, which, let's face it, makes it easiest on us radio and TV guys. And then now that you see everything filtering through, I think they're a little bit more savvy business-wise. So they can look at the teeter-totter, the balance between the money's good, the relationship's good. They know the balance. So I take a little less money to go to school A because they've got some stuff in place that can help me now and potentially help me in the future.
Yeah. And Jeff, you're so right about the kind of the professionalism. I'll use that word, the savvy around the player coming out of high school, and for sure that player that's out of high school and he's been a year off somewhere else and realizes that really wasn't what it was cracked up to be, and then he wants to get back to here or get to here. And I think now when a 20-year-old missteps, and they will, it surprises us more because they seem so very mature, they seem so very savvy, but sometimes 20 is still going to be 20.
Yeah, well, I think some of the maturity gets filtered out in the transfer portal, and I think we've seen this. What have we been in the portal now? 4 years? 5 years? 4 years? Is that right? We've had the portal. Well, I don't think it took but a season or two for a lot of people to figure out, and then a lot of high school kids to see how the portal worked coming up. And I've said this to coaches on coaches shows before when we talk about the portal. Hey, if you're second string at school A, you're probably going to be second string at school B, and unless you're going down a division or you're maybe you are a starter at a P5 school and you come to an American Conference school, you're probably still going to be second string, and you may not get picked up. I think that's the startling numbers when you look at the amount of young men and young women in whatever sport it is, they get in that portal and they never come out.
We talk all the names. We talk Reggie Grimes. We talk the Mario Anderson. We talk other players coming in. We talk players that have. Give our listeners, Jeff, if you can, a player way off the down the charts of the roster that you've gone out and you've seen that looks good, that we'll know their name by the end of September.
Oh man, that's tough to do right now early in practice. I've got your regular names now. I know Brady Clues is gaining some muscle, one of the wide receivers, so maybe you see him really develop this year and get something going. I'll be interested to watch the junior that came from Louisville, Greg DeRozier. They've been working him on some punt returns. We got a redshirt freshman that came back from Kentucky originally out of White Station, and Mario Robinson, as you mentioned. But my interest will be piqued to see if we get in some situations where we're able to get on top of some people to maybe get a look at Arrington Maiden from College Station, the big three-star quarterback, or or even Cade Cunningham, the junior backup quarterback for Marshall, to see those guys get some snaps. But Arrington will be curious. I'll be curious to see if he gets some snaps. I've heard good things. He's here in the spring. Heard good things there. We saw him in the spring game. Just raw athletic ability, what he can do, and I've heard good things coming out of camp. And you never know what happens one year to the next, but you would say from the outside looking in that's probably your future right there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know there's a ton of excitement for the season to go ahead and get started. We're only a couple of weeks away, but Jeff, thanks so much for joining us, and let's do this again soon.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime. Just let me know.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks, guys.
Jeff Brightwell joining us from the Tiger Football Network, and I'm getting excited. All this talk about the Tiger season going to start right around the corner.
Historic year ahead, and Brian, it's why opening day. I know it's easy to scoff at the FCS team, but that day, if you experienced fans, you want to get there and see the starters early. You want to stay all day,
absolutely,
because there are guys. That's a show out. That's a tryout for them that day. That's an audition for them against North Alabama. I know you hear me say it all the time when Ole Miss plays that FCS team or anybody playing that FCS team. That day for the Tigers, the Memphis Tigers' opponent's not North Alabama. It's your own depth chart.
Right.
It's your own locker room.
Yeah.
That's who you're challenging that day.
Oh, yeah. And those coaches, I mean, it doesn't matter what the score is. First quarter through the fourth quarter, they're out there evaluating guys and seeing what they can do out there, against that opponent.
You might have had one or two that pouted when the depth chart went up or the starters were announced, game week.
Sure.
Well, go show me we made a mistake.
Exactly. And I mean, you could very well see a guy comes in the second half in a blowout and just shows out, and now they're getting more snaps the next week, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. Just ready for some football to get here.
I don't think I'm in trouble over this, but last year early in the Ole Miss season had a running back that when the game was over, they had Coach Kiffin with me. And the running backs coach came in and said, "Hey, you need to go talk to so-and-so." He was really irritated about his number of touches today. He said, "Oh, really?" He was. He said, "Did you suggest showing him the practice tape all week of what he did? Did you suggest to him that he was late to meetings? Why'd I need to tell him this?"
Yes. A lot goes into it, Brett. That's hilarious. Wow.
Prove me different.
Yes.
Go out and bust it.
Yes, show me that you want to be out here on Saturdays. It's what goes on during the week for sure. But let's go ahead.
And that practice tape is there for him.
Oh, it absolutely is.
And I've joked about all the film people, Brian, and they're filming everything. They're filming sideline comportment when you're not playing. Are you standing over there with your helmet tipped up on your head looking like you don't care?
Oh, yeah. No, they're watching everything, and they're evaluating everything from the start of practice to the end of practice. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, talk a little more about the Olympics.
Simple, smooth, and every sip is easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does your favorite mixers. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent out to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff, just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
Getaway Sports Biscuits in town. Open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garden created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Come up on 6 pool tables. Just here in town. Full serving kitchens and more bar. Chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 10 to 6 p.m. on Mega Business 1025 Getaway Sports Bar. 632 Winchester.
You've heard of James Gannis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous largest selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
The best golfers on the PGA Tour are coming to Memphis to kick off the FedEx Cup playoffs at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwood throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news. Our coverage from TPC Southwood and Sports 56 and 98.5 FM is brought to you by Landers Ford in Collierville. Also sponsored by Sissy's Log Cabin, First National Bank, Monty Grisani's, Banyan Tree Realtors, DeSoto Honda, Jim's Place, and South Haven Supply.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Red Star Sports Movie and Brian Gates.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and we got to talk some Olympics as another day getting close to wrapping up in Paris. And right now, Team USA up 94-71 over Brazil in men's basketball. Into the third quarter, so 1 quarter to go. Team USA, after Brazil able to cut it to an 8-point game, they jump back out and look like they'll win that very easily. Some other things we've got going on. I know women's water polo, Team USA was playing, and they get the win 5-4 over, I forget who they were playing, but they get the win. So good day for Team USA so far.
Real good day. Not many days left. Who do you want in the gold medal game?
I think it'd be cool to see France. You know, if they can beat Germany and
Won't be a fun 2.5 hours for Joel Embiid.
No, it won't. And that,
I don't think he's had the best Olympic experience.
No, I don't think so either. And that might be a
when
game
do I
where,
get home and get done
yes,
with this?
I think, you know, if they
and
do
there's
get
nothing
to that
wrong
game,
with that sentiment.
No.
Anybody wants to go to patriotism or how dare you? No, everybody's experience is not the same.
Sure. So I mean, I you know, that might be a game where Joel Embiid doesn't play a ton in the gold medal game, but you know that's okay, and you know we'll see what happens. But I feel confident whoever Team USA puts on the floor that they'll win, and I don't think France or Germany or Serbia, the remaining teams, I don't think any of them really can beat Team USA.
I saw a story of how good the Olympics that's been for Paris and for France, but it's not as good with the tourists as people think it is. A lot of times, you know, it's the old Yogi Berra. Nobody goes there anymore. It's too crowded.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have that sentiment about him. One story I haven't seen from the Olympics is kind of the totals, like the total consumption of.
Oh yeah.
You know, in the Olympic Village of food or the refuse, the garbage. I haven't seen those totals. You usually get that story.
Yeah, you definitely do. I know John brought a story today about some Olympian that had fish in the Olympic Village and had like worms in it or something. And he was saying he wasn't going to eat anything else in the Olympic Village. So
No, I have one bout of worms. I'm kind of out too.
Yes, I agree. No, if I get anything with worms, then I can assure you I'm not eating that food again. But
not Olympics, but I see a story for beer prices for this year at college football stadiums. The average beer price at college football this year is $9.65.
Okay.
Which I think is very expensive.
Yes.
That's priced right because nobody's asking for change when you give them a 10.
No.
Or you scan for $9.65.
That's right.
You're going. Well, I don't know. You may not tip then. So $9.65 the average price. The top price is at Stanford. $20 a beer at Stanford.
What?
$20.
What?
That's more than any NBA
Holy
arena.
Cow.
That's more than anything I've heard.
I've never heard of a beer being that expensive. That's crazy.
Tennessee $13.
Wow.
Ole Miss $9.50. Memphis and the Razorbacks both at $9. Mississippi State comes in 1 cent cheaper, $8.99.
How about that? There you
Saving
go.
cash going
Shout
to
out.
Starkville.
Hail State.
A whole host of people at $8. And then kind of just it just really highlights it. God bless Louisiana.
Oh yeah.
Tulane, $4 a beer.
Right. Yep.
At Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, $2.
That's right. They were putting out graphics earlier this offseason of cheapest beer in college football. Louisiana was, and I think Tulane tried to get in on it too. But Louisiana ultimately has the cheapest
Where is
beer.
LSU on this list? I can't imagine them getting topped.
No, I mean,
especially anything with alcohol related. I don't see LSU anywhere on the list.
Interesting. Guess we don't have LSU numbers yet. A couple weeks we will.
$4 at Tulane, $2 in Lafayette.
Good for them.
Louisiana.
I mean, $20 for a beer. I mean, what are we even doing at that point? You know, you buy one beer, that's your beer for the game. I mean, let's go on the where a lot of people are going, place it about $9. You know, people are going to get one, they'll come back for another one, then that's $20. You know, I mean,
it's old as time. The cheaper you sell them, the more you're going to sell.
Exactly. It's crazy. $20.
I know people don't like this term. It's called trickle down. It works.
Yes,
it's only worked every time.
That's insane.
LSU $10. I found them. That's reasonable.
That's reasonable.
LSU needs to get in the price war though. Come on, bring it on down.
Let's get down. Yes, when you have Louisiana and Tulane down there.
I have no idea if I'm right or wrong about this, but wouldn't you say the cost would be for Louisiana selling it for $2? They're just about selling it at cost about $1.80.
I
would be their cost.
It's very close to cost. Yes.
And good old Stanford clearing their profit like that.
It's crazy.
And they were going to cut sports a few years ago.
That's right.
Until they got berated into, why don't you cut into that endowment?
Oh, yeah. And I can't get over that. That's insane. That's why I could have done without today already. I know that's a couple hours from now. But
Memphis, $9 price. That's pretty good.
That's a solid price for a beer. I'm not mad at it. It's good. You'll sell a lot.
And here, if you don't like it, here's how you can cause the price to go down. Don't buy them.
That's right. You know, so I guess as long as people are buying them, they'll be about that price. And I think that's a fine price for those alcoholic beverages. But we need to go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking a whole lot more college football with Brent Beard from First Coast News in Jacksonville.
During the sales drive at Lander Sport in Collierville, Lander Sport South in South Haven, and Lander Sport North in Covington, we've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right. Over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Lander Sport in Collierville, Lander Sport South in South Haven, or Lander Sport North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo price new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
551. Easy home improvement.
For more than half a century, contractors and trade professionals have relied on WeatherGuard for heavy-duty truck and van storage equipment, not just to protect their valuable tools, but to protect their professional reputations. For pros, the WeatherGuard badge makes a statement about what drives them. It says, "Bring it on. Been there. Done that. We've got your back," without saying a word. And the folks at WeatherGuard, they're just as driven as the hardworking pros they serve. See what it means to be driven at weatherguard.com.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Fox Sports Radio's teamed up with Tire Rack this summer to give away a set of 4 tires every 2 weeks through August 25th. 3 lucky winners will each receive a set of 4 tires from Tire Rack, plus vehicle installation, taxes, and fees valued up to $1,500. To get all the info and official rules, visit foxsportsradio.com. Make sure to enter daily for your chance to win. Furnished by Tire Rack. TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wallow said hello.
This Sports 56 traffic report is brought to you by Luttrell Building. They keep you moving.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Filling out paperwork here in the Midtown area on this multi-vehicle crash. They managed to move it over to the side, but some rubbernecking associated with this crash over here in Midtown on 40 westbound at Chelsea. Again, it's got traffic a little bit slow. It's a good thing it wasn't over in the eastbound lanes because that's really heavy trying to get up through Midtown right now. Traffic's not bad at the moment on 240 eastbound from Mill Branch out to 385. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
College football talk every Tuesday with Brent Beard, Heisman voter, and on Twitter X at Brent Beard. SEC, ACC, AAC. We talk it all with Brent. Here's Brent Beard with Bryant and Brent.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brent Beard, he joins us every single Tuesday at this time to talk some college football. Brent, thanks so much for joining us. Got to start off with the coaches poll that was released yesterday. Do you have any big takeaways? Anybody you felt was too high or too low from that coaches poll we saw yesterday?
Nice to be on with you guys. You mean in the Sports Information Directors poll?
Correct.
That was released yesterday.
That's right.
Right. Look, I'm not real high on Notre Dame. Now, Notre Dame's got an easy schedule, that's going to help them. Now losing their left tackle is not going to help them either. But just that they're that high at number 7. Listen, I've got more confidence in Utah than I do Notre Dame, especially with Cam Rising coming back. Miami may be a tad low, but I'm just going to have to see that to believe it. A&M at 20 is not bad. Going to have to see if Connor Wheatman comes back. Their offensive line struggle over the last few years. That's going to be interesting. But now, the AP comes out, I think this weekend or next week, at least. Will that be a mirror, basically, of what we're seeing here?
I don't know. It will be interesting to see the variance. If they're, like in one poll, say like Oregon's 3, they're not falling to 7 or 8 or 9.
No.
You might, when you get down there in those high teens and into the 20s, and you mentioned Notre Dame, that they may be a tad bit overdone. It's summertime. Notre Dame's always overdone in the summertime.
They are.
And
they really are, aren't they?
If they don't beat A&M, we're going to get a bucket full of them. But because they've got it easy until about their 7th game or so.
Yeah.
If they start 1-0, here's the bad thing about if they don't start 1-0, we're going to get a bucket full of Texas A&M.
That's right.
So
which can the fans be able to tolerate more? might be the question there. Look, Kansas is 24. They ought to have a parade this weekend for that, and guys just enjoy every bit of it.
Mm-hmm. They ought to have a parade that they didn't get left just completely out of the college football picture a few years ago.
Yeah. Listen, and that and Brian, what Brent's talking about is now when Mangino was there, they did that. They really actually were pretty good for a while.
Went to an Orange Bowl.
Oh, wow.
They sure did, but they've been awful, frankly, over the last few years. And look, and I'm not saying they would have closed the program down, but in essence, with the number of fans they had in the stands, in the interest, it just about was closed down.
Wow. You mentioned Miami in there, and I've heard a lot of people this offseason talking very, very highly about this Miami team, but it feels like we've done this before with Miami hype. What makes this group different going into this year than previous Miami teams we've seen?
Maybe because I've got Cam Ward at quarterback. Xavier Restapro is a good wide receiver. Jalen Rivers is one of their offensive linemen who is basically about a 15-minute ride from where I live. So I think they've done a good job in bringing over some transfers. That has made a difference for them. But again, and we almost say it every week, but it really is setting up to be that way. This Florida game is going to be incredibly huge for both these teams. So, in Mario Cristobal is 12-13. So I don't buy anything about Miami being back yet at this point. Now they did get Damian Martinez. It's going to really help them. Also. So now here's another thing: 2-4 last year in games decided by 8 points or less. That's got to stop. The thing that really's got to stop is they've got to stop losing these games that are just mystifying, like the Georgia Tech game last year and the year before that. Guys, y'all remember they lost? You certainly would remember this. They lost to Middle Tennessee. And benched Tyler Van Dyke, and now he is with Wisconsin to see where that's going to go. But Brett brings up a good question, Brett. I mean, we hear it every year. We've heard it like Texas, and until we really see where this thing's going. I'm not convinced they're back.
But Texas is back.
Well, I think they're back more than Miami is.
And I don't know if I said that with a period or a question mark.
Yeah,
Texas is back.
Yeah, and that probably is something that we just have to wait and see if they're going to be or not. But to me, their big thing is going to be can they fix their defense? I mean, when you lose guys to the NFL like they did, and particularly the Sweat kid who's 360 pounds and runs like a linebacker or DB almost, that's going to be tough. But
they like their personnel, though, and they know they've recruited well.
Yeah. And I remember at media days, Sark really liked what he had in that personnel, especially in the wide receiver room. I mean, that the quarterback room is going to be fine, frankly. So, but again, humongous games that they've got. I mean, that Georgia game is going to be incredible. A&M game, Oklahoma game, on and on and on. So that's going to be fascinating to see.
Bryant and I have talked a lot this summer about the college basketball terms almost will start encroaching on and taking over college football from the bracket. I don't know if we'll call it the tournament, but the playoff, the bracket, the tournament, to the four teams that have byes. We'll have a final four. We'll have a final two for sure. We'll have a national championship game, and I think it will change kind of stylistically for people and expectations for people going into the season. A guy like Mike Norvell, Florida State fans aren't expecting him to win the national championship this year, but they are expecting him to be in the playoffs. There are college basketball places that are fined by a coach going to the tournament every year that they don't expect them to win the tournament. There are a couple out there, Kentucky, Duke, Kansas. We know the Blue Bloods. And I don't even know if they expect to win at all. They expect to be in the Final Four. So we're going to have teams like that. But Florida State's not a team that you can expect to be in a football four, can you?
I don't know if they can get to the four. I do think they can certainly get to the playoffs. A lot of people think they'll win the conference. But a lot of this still comes back to DJ Uiagalelei and how he is able to play. I mean, and they like Brock Glenn too, the backup. He is not ready for him to do. Malik Benson, the Alabama transfer, Rodell Williams, Alabama transfer. I think it's going to help. In a note of irony, I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but FSU every year comes to Jacksonville to practice at the University of North Florida for they'll be here tomorrow and Thursday just to kind of get away. Wow. So that's a different way of doing it.
Certainly.
But I think it's kind of, we're going to get out of town so we can be together and we can practice together without any distractions.
Brett, I think we maybe lost you there.
Nope, I am still here.
I'm sorry.
I lost Brett. I think.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're good.
Brian, didn't Mike Norvell do that here with trips to Nashville?
Yeah, so he went up to Nashville a lot of times, and sometimes up to Lambeth. Yeah, so he would do that every once in a while.
He likes to get away. All right, using that kind of image of expectations, Brent, for get into playoffs or get to a football four in the SEC. How many teams right now do the administration fans expect to be in a college football Final Four?
I would say expectations, Georgia, Alabama, Texas. I think right now Ole Miss has earned that.
But not year in, year out. They're not expecting that. I'm talking about every year over year, get to the football four.
Alabama, Texas, Georgia, every year. Used to, you could say that about Tennessee. That's not the way it is now.
LSU?
Although it's getting close, I think. So I'll probably go with, I mean, there are just so many gaps. I mean, Florida would have been that way years ago. They certainly aren't now either. I'm sure I'm leaving somebody out, but I mean, as far as
Oklahoma,
close. I'll say Alabama, Georgia, and Texas right now. would be now. Look, and that's not saying that Texas has a team, but all three of us know that their administration and fans think they ought to be.
Absolutely. Talking to Brent Beard, he joins us every single Tuesday, talk some college football from First Coast News in Jacksonville. Looking at the poll we got yesterday, 9 SEC teams in the top 25, 4 receiving votes. The teams receiving votes from the SEC: Auburn, Kentucky, Florida, and South Carolina. Out of those 4 teams that are receiving votes, which one of them has the best opportunity, the best team to become a top 25 caliber team?
Well, I don't think it'd be Florida, although I do think they'll be better. If I had more confidence in Peyton Thorne, I may say them. I do think they'll be improved. They'll certainly have better wide receivers like the freshman in Coleman. But man, oh man, that's still the craziest schedule I believe I've ever seen. To basically have all the home games in September and have no home games in October, to me, is just ludicrous.
That is crazy.
It's certainly not South Carolina. I don't think. I don't think either. I don't. If they had more skill position players, I would say that. Who was the fourth one?
It was Kentucky.
Yeah. But again, we're still going to wait and see. I mean, my story is, what if Vandergrift gets hurt, and what they're going to do then? I don't know if y'all have seen this, but there's a little bit out there this week about, could this be Stoops' last year? Has he had enough? With him flirting with some other teams like A&M. I'm not sure I'm ready to accept that yet. I do hope he stays, and I think if he stays long enough, that they may build a statue of him out there. But has guys? I don't know the answer to this, but has Kentucky slipped back into maybe more 6'6", 7'5" type thing, and maybe double digits or 8 or 9 comes every 3 or 4 years? Is that fair?
It is fair, and isn't that enough? We just had a friend of ours from the Tiger Football Radio Network, Jeff Brightwell, on, and he was talking about the success that's been attained by the University of Memphis. And a few years ago, it slipped back to a 6-win season. They got a 7th win in a bowl, and it got a little noisy around here. And he said, ride it out. You got to expect that. Doesn't Kentucky kind of have to take that tack as well?
Yes. Oh, yeah, no question about it. And I still think he's done a nice job. I mean, the problem has been they've had the kind of a revolving door at the offensive coordinator position situation. Cohen coming back a couple of times was interesting. But yeah, Brett, I would agree with that. I mean, he's going in.
And I'll say the same in a year about Ole Miss. I'm already getting from some out there, what's Ole Miss going to do for a second act next year? I'll worry about all that next year.
Absolutely, really. Lord.
And by the way, 29 wins the last 3 years. It's not like it just out of whole cloth came this year.
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely. Look, people need to enjoy where we are, but I mean, fans are fans, and they're looking. They can't stay on this year. They're looking 5 and 10 years down the road.
That's right. Yeah, all the time. Michigan comes in at number 8, and now a lot of talk about Michigan with everything going on with the Connor Stallions thing. We kind of thought that was behind us, but now a draft of the notice of allegations has been released, and it looks like more could be coming to Michigan and Sherrone Moore as he prepares for his first year as the head coach. What do you make of this ongoing situation that I think we all thought was kind of done last year?
Yeah, and it just kind of came up. I mean, I think this is a situation that probably most people think not a whole lot what's going to be done with it, particularly with Harbaugh gone. I mean, Moore obviously is pretty easy to see, at least from what we think the evidence was. What was he and a lot of the staff were very involved with what was going on. I think some of this has a lot to do with, does the NCAA want to make a statement with them somehow? But I mean, you're not taking them off TV. You're going to take them away from the postseason. So what can you do? I mean, you can fine them. I mean, are they going to vacate wins? I've always thought that was silly. If you went in on the field, you went in on the field. They could take away some scholarships. But again, guys, help me on this. I mean, I just don't see, number one, by the time this really comes around, they just got notice of allegations.
Yeah.
All three of us know these things take a year and a half to go through the ringer. I mean, do they probably deserve something to happen? You could certainly make a case for that. But I really wonder, guys, by the time they really get to the enforcement part of this, if much is going to be done at all.
I really wish, and Michigan seems like they would be a great test case to do it with their might and their power, their reputation. Tell the NCAA we've complied all we're going to comply. We've handed in all the copies of stuff. We've worn a copying machine out sending y'all stuff. You have everything we're going to send you. You do whatever you have to do, and we're not so sure we're going to listen to you.
Yeah. Well,
and the comeback to that is you willingly join the NCAA.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. But frankly, really until they put the hammer down on somebody, and again, how are they going to do that to get their attention in this day and age? I don't think people are that are really very concerned about it right now. No, I mean they may. I still think they want to try to be more than a paper tiger at times, but they still have a lot of reinventing of themselves to do before anybody is afraid of them again.
I don't want them reinvented. I want the building vacated, the electrical system turned off to it, and a big wrecking ball to hit it.
Well, there'd be a lot of people that would be there to watch the implosion of that coming down too. No question.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I wish everybody would band together in unison and quit enjoying when this one or that one gets in trouble, and everybody just scoff at the NCAA and quit playing along with them.
Yeah. Well, and obviously we'll see Michigan's response. We'll see, people will start thinking in 6 or 8 months, well, we hadn't heard much from that Michigan case. Is anything going to go on there? We'll have some of that until what happens from what Brett said, that either they go away or something drastically different than what we're used to happens. Yeah,
the basketball tournament is the carrot that keeps everybody scared to death of them.
Oh yeah. That's an excellent point.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Well, Brent, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next Tuesday.
Good. Anyway, as we get close, next Tuesday, guys, we'll be within a week almost, or a little bit more than
close
a week.
To prediction time for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Are you working on your bracket?
I am. The thing that always gives me pause with this is when I see stuff like Montrell Johnson of Florida, who when I first saw that he was hurt, the thing goes through your mind, well, is he out for the year? I mean, obviously he's not. He's week to week, which they expect him to play in Miami. But that's the thing that always gives me pause, is to get that basically done, and then there'll be some crucial injury somewhere.
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be interesting to see. All those injuries definitely are scary when talking about predictions, and we're getting ready to make ours here in a couple weeks. Well, Brent, as always, thanks. We'll talk to you again next week.
Always enjoy, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Brent.
That's Brent Beard with us talking college football from First Coast News down in Jacksonville. And, boy, they've had the rain down there from the
Yes, they
tropical
have.
depression blowing through in the low country of South Carolina. I mean, those pictures are unreal. We are waiting for that last second injury, but eventually we can't pick injury. You got to make picks.
That's right. You got to make picks, and the injuries will play out how they play out. But especially like Brent was saying, when you get these kind of early ones in camp, and it kind of makes you second guess when you haven't made those predictions yet if you want to change them or not. But thankfully, in college, at least those aren't as reported as they are in the NFL.
At Florida, I can't imagine a world for Billy Napier that if he won the opener against Miami at home and he won the last game at Florida State, I can't imagine him blowing it in between all that. Can you?
I mean, I would think not, but that's a tough schedule. And I think you win that first game, but then you go on a long losing streak, and those boosters that AD might have said, enough's enough and cut ties. But I think those are two good wins if you can pick them up.
Central Florida, their fans, that administration.
Oh yeah,
they can't bear sitting there and watching that at the Swamp.
No, you're right. That's kind of the deal breaker. That's the decider game for sure. So.
That is. Brett Beard joined us on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Sissy's Log Cabin, the official jeweler of the hometown teams like the Grizzlies and the Tigers, and that great location at Poplar and Perkins at 4542 Poplar in Laurelwood. Bill Jones, his great team, they're here to stay and big supporter of all the local teams. And when we get into football season every Monday at 4:30, we'll look back at the weekend in the SEC, brought to you by Sissy's Log Cabin. Next week it's the golf tournament. All our leaderboard updates will be brought to you by the great people at Sissy's Log Cabin, the Mid-South's largest selection of one-of-a-kind jewelry, engagement rings, necklaces, earrings, wedding bands, 9,000 square foot store in Laurelwood with expanded lines for Rolex, Cartier, diamonds, and more since 1970 with all the locations across the Mid-South. Sissy's offers a selection of diamonds, estate jewelry, and fine gifts, and they are the official jeweler for the Grizzlies. And at FedEx Forum with the floor seat lounge, we will be at FedEx Forum soon. I'm thinking NBA schedule next week or in the next 2 weeks. I hope so. Unsurpassed value, exceptional service, expansive selection, and an extraordinary shopping experience. Because life's too short for ordinary jewelry, go by and visit the great people at Sissy's Log Cabin.
Well, let's grab a quick break. When we come back, it was a limited schedule last night in Major League Baseball. Tonight, we get a full slate and some really interesting pitching matchups. We'll talk about everything that happened last night and what's on tap for tonight. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Memphis, the playoffs are back. Come see the PGA Tour's best compete for the trophy, the FedEx St. Jude Championship, August 14th through 18th. Witness the drama as 70 players arrive in Memphis and only 50 move on. Tickets are on sale now at FedExChampionship.com.
They can't get that Central Barbecue location on Central back open soon enough.
It's still going to be a little while. They do things right at Central Barbecue. That's why every location is so unique.
I know, but there's a lot of different Central Barbecue locations. But I miss the OG, the Central Barbecue on Central.
You know, it's going to be completely different.
Well, not completely.
Yeah, when the Central Barbecue location on Central reopens, it'll be bigger, nicer, more streamlined.
But still on Central.
That's about the only thing. For the time being, until they tell us different, you can't go wrong with any of the Central Barbecue locations.
You know, I think we broke our record for saying Central Barbecue the most times in a Central Barbecue commercial.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings are an extra 20% below Genesis everyday price.
That's right, the vault is open, and we're selling the finest handcrafted diamond rings at rock bottom prices. Now for a very limited time.
GIA is the gold standard of diamond buying, certified accuracy and documented quality. So you can buy confidence.
Every Genesis engagement ring is
Wash your office building? Impossible! Not call Wilson's Pro Wash. Your house, fence, driveway, warehouse, store, hotel, even cars and trucks can all be squeaky clean and beautiful after pressure washing by Wilson's Pro Wash. Wilson's specializes in cleaning all hard surfaces, concrete, stone, brick, and mortar, even wood and vinyl siding. Then Wilson's can seal their surfaces so they stay looking brand new. Call Wilson's Pro Wash, 1-524-6799, or online at wilsonsprowash.com.
It's regular season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights, open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia, to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 per person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. Still trying to mop up the remains of this wreck over here on 40 westbound, right at Chelsea. They got a couple more vehicles to get out of here on this crash here in the Midtown area. That's 40 westbound. Still a little bit slow. Slower than normal for sure. Over here in the Midtown area around Chelsea, traffic's cranking up on 240 east from Mill Branch all the way out to Billmore's Parkway. Weimer's Jewelry right here in Memphis. They specialize in bridal ring purchases. Go by and see them. Shop local. Save a lot of money at Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Well, Major League Baseball keeps on rolling right along, and not a better place to start than with the biggest story of the day, and that could have been my big number today, the number 21. That's how many consecutive losses the White Sox have. They fell to the A's last night, 5-1 in the series opener at the Coliseum. Tickets available at the Coliseum last night for A's and White Sox.
A whole stadium was available.
Literally, quite literally, the entire stadium available. 21st loss in a row for the White Sox. We talked about it earlier. That makes them tied with the 1988 Orioles for the longest losing streak in AL history. Now only the 1961 Phillies have lost more consecutive games with 23. So we could see that passed this week as well. It was a weird start to the game. White Sox started Kai Busch, their 17th overall top prospect in their organization. He had one of the weirdest debuts I've ever seen. 4 innings, 3 earned runs on 2 hits and 5 walks. He could not find the strike zone last night. He did add 3 strikeouts, but ultimately the White Sox fall, and it just does not look good right now. Yeah, it was very weird. It was one of the weirder debuts I've ever seen in my life.
Box score said 4,971.
No chance.
Closer to 49 people than to 4,971.
100%. It was not good last night at the Coliseum. It has not been good any night at the Coliseum, but last night certainly against between the White Sox and the Athletics. Nobody wants to go see that game.
The Rays, they have gotten their new stadium deal. Mm-hmm. I think it's complete. It's going to happen. Guess where they're building?
Where are they building?
Right there by the old one.
Lovely. Isn't that what I thought that's what we were trying to avoid by getting a new stadium.
We were told it was never the stadium.
Yes.
The issue
was the
where
bridge.
it's located.
Yes, and Wow, interesting.
$1.2 billion, only about 31,000 seats. It will be domed.
Yeah.
And it's going to be right there. So what's going to
Interesting.
change? I thought it wasn't the building.
Yeah,
They said forever.
That's what it's always been. It's the building's fine, and just that bridge that nobody ever wants to cross, that's the issue. But I don't know. That's crazy.
And tonight the Rays are in St. Louis. The Rays, they pulled out the white flag. They surrender. They gave up. See you in 2025 against the Cardinals. They should have.
Yeah, and I still think, we've talked about this group before, the Rays, and I think still a feisty group, even though they were big-time sellers at the deadline. And, for any Cardinal fan out there that says, okay, well, you hit a rough patch, but this is really the series where you bounce back, I don't think it's going to be that easy. I think it's going to be challenging for the Cardinals with how poor they've been playing. Like you said, the Rays are not playing for anything this year. They have their sights set on next season, but it feels like they have a core there. They bring in Christopher Morel from Chicago, a young guy that I think can be a productive player for them. And so I think they still are playing for a lot of pride and trying to continue to build that core. And so I think this is going to be a difficult series for the Cardinals.
It is, and the season's over. But the best series, the best game in baseball, though, tonight will be Arizona visiting Cleveland. And there are games in the National League Central that have a lot more intrigue than anything the Cardinals are doing.
Sure.
Tonight in Pittsburgh, hosting the Padres. The Padres are hot, and the Pirates are trying to get hot. The Pirates have more. They have more of a shot of getting that last wild card than St. Louis ever thought about.
Definitely, and I'm glad you brought up both these games because two teams I wanted to talk about in the Pirates and the Diamondbacks. I'll start with the Pirates because you mentioned it, a team looking to get hot. You could argue they are hot. Since July 1st, the Pirates are 16-12, one of the best records since July 1st in Major League Baseball. Now only 4 games out of the wild card, so they are definitely playing well. You look at that pitching staff from top to bottom, they've been producing. We know who's up there at the top. Paul Skeens, what he's done since being promoted from AAA early in the season, he's been lights out. But you even go
he's
down
provided
to the bottom.
energy for the team.
He absolutely has. And now, his last start, he comes out, throws a gem, looks great, gets a lead for them. Then that bullpen comes in and kind of lets it go. Jake Woodford goes out there, former St. Louis Cardinal, former Chicago White Sox, former everything. He goes out there for the Pirates and gives up a handful of runs, and they end up losing that game. But you look at this starting pitching for the Pirates, and from top to bottom, they've been getting, I think, all of their starters have like a sub-4 ERA, I believe. So
gives them a chance.
They definitely put them in a good position every single game. So you're right, that game is going to be a really fun one. And then the D-backs and the Guardians, last night was a great game between those two teams. Now they go tonight. Eduardo Rodriguez, who was lights out last year for the Detroit Tigers, he was a big name for the Tigers last year around the trade deadline. Would they trade him? He ended up getting injured, did not get traded, and has been injured since the start of the season. This will be his season debut. But you look at what he did last year, a 3.3 ERA for the Tigers, I think gives them another really solid arm. We were talking with David Brandt yesterday, and he mentioned getting Ed Rod back would be a big boost for this pitching staff. And so, I think that's going to be a good game going up against Ben Lively. Should be a really fun game that starts here in just about an hour.
Where do the Mariners go? What do they get hot? They added some batting, not enough though.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and a team that's dealing with some injuries, and I think when you get those guys back, I think the Mariners are in a good spot right now to at least make the postseason. Those bats, it's been really hit or miss these last couple of days in this last week or so, because before that the bats were awful. This lineup could not hit the ball, and then they make some additions. Randy Arozarena comes in, and it felt like maybe they could do something. They go out and have some nice games hitting the ball. This weekend I thought was a great sign against the Phillies. You get 2 out of 3 against them, but you get shut out in the third game. So this week's going to be really important for them. You're facing a Detroit Tigers team that really isn't playing for anything, and so hopefully if you're the Mariners, you can get some good good pitching, but you can also get some good hitting and try to get some of these guys back in that lineup and maybe do something. Because I think they can beat out the Astros to win that division, but those bats have to come alive if they want to do anything in postseason play.
Bryant, I heard, and I like him a lot, I heard Chris Russo, Mad Dog, on the MLB Network. He was really going after the White Sox futility, that it's a real bad look for baseball. I don't think that. I mean, I think it's a really bad look for the White Sox organization. I don't think it's I don't think you can blame the enterprise of baseball for it.
Right.
And we always have a lesser. I mean, when you have that 2-15 team in the NFL, and when Chris Russo speaks baseball, I listen.
Of course, absolutely.
But I just in this case, I respectfully disagree.
Yeah, no, that definitely sounds like a classic Mad Dog take for sure. You try to do an imitation of him, it might be straight from Mad Dog, because that definitely sounds like something he would say. But no, I don't think that it's a bad look for all of Major League Baseball. I mean, heck, go back and look at the Detroit Pistons and that long losing streak they had in the NBA. Nobody was saying it was a bad look for NBA. NBA was still a great product, and there were still great teams and great games. It was just the Detroit Pistons couldn't find ways to win. And so now you're seeing the exact same thing with the Chicago White Sox, and they're really struggling. But, yes, bad look for the Chicago White Sox.
But the NFL doesn't get that when they have a lesser.
No, but, I think the NFL stands on an island of its own. I don't think anything could give it a bad look, especially teams being bad. But, no, I'm with you. I don't think it's a bad look for all of baseball.
And if he's right, then what's the remedy?
Yeah. Well, I think there are, and we've talked about most of these.
I do think there are too many teams, but we're not contracting anybody.
No. But I think there are.
And I'm sure not suggesting it for the White Sox.
Sure. There are things in Major League Baseball that give Major League Baseball a bad look. It's not the Chicago White Sox, though. It's not a team just not being able to win.
Yeah, there's worse looks for baseball than the White Sox.
The commissioner is a worse look for Major League Baseball than any team in Major League Baseball.
You drove me right to that.
There you go. I mean, what can I say? It's being a good teammate.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And he is so very bad. To highlight it, when we get to playoff time, and I really look forward to it, I'm going to watch every available inning I can consume.
Yeah.
To go back to playing real baseball in extra innings, which makes me wish every game go 19 innings.
That's right.
Blow through the TV window. Blow through the pitching staffs. You got right fielders in the top of the 18th having to pitch.
Oh, that'd be great.
I so hope it for the
that'd
playoffs.
Be great. Yeah, well, it feels like we get one of those ever since these rules
stretched
changes.
out games.
It feels like we get at least one of them. I remember a couple of years ago, I think Blue Jays and Mariners went like 17 or 18 innings.
I hope every game does that.
Would love that. Hey, more baseball, the better, So.
6 hours and 19 minutes. An 18-inning affair last night concluded with the backup catcher, the winning pitcher.
Oh man, that would be.
I so hope it.
Yeah, no, that would be nice. That would certainly be.
Well, I say that, I say that.
Yeah, you don't want that actually.
I have spontaneous combustion, and my head explodes when during the middle of the playoffs, Manfred switches it back.
Well, and that's the thing. That's why you don't want it, because either something like that will happen, or it's guaranteed to, after the playoffs are done, they say, you know what? It just, we can't have that happen. And
right.
So
I think 11 or 12 innings would precipitate that.
And honestly, Brett, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of extra inning games this year. I mean, with the lack of offensive production and kind of
and all these specialists and these pitchers.
Certainly. And so I would not be surprised if we saw kind of more extra inning games than usual this year. So I hope not. I hope so, but also at the same time hope not, because I do not want to see what we're seeing in the regular season become a regular.
Leave it to Manfred that you almost dread the playoff start.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy because you never know what's
to
going to happen.
True blue diehards like us in baseball.
Exactly. It's a weird time and definitely a weird commissioner in charge of all of it. But I mentioned it earlier, really good slate of baseball tonight, some really intriguing pitching matchups, kind of all over the place. So I'm excited for these games and what
got Kansas City and Boston again tonight.
Yeah, that was a fun game last night. Red Sox got up big. Royals kind of made it interesting late. So that's going to be a really fun series to watch. So just a lot of really good stuff in Major League Baseball right now. But we need to go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WNBA. WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Burgess. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Burgess Rendezvous, a legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m. 7 days a week. Garden named the creators, SEC NFL Dream Bar, over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Come up on 6 pool tables. Closest here in town. Your pool still get you some good bar chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 1 to 6 p.m. On regular business, 25 Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
At Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, they're proud to be here for their neighbors while giving back to communities across the state throughout the year, every year. This month, they're honored to stand alongside 1,600 dedicated volunteers as they make this year's annual FedEx St. Jude Golf Tournament fundraiser a resounding success. Giving back to St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital, which helps treat and defeat childhood cancer, is a meaningful effort that is very close to their hearts. This year, their goal is to reach $3 million in donations for kids at St. Jude's, and they couldn't do it without the support of their amazing volunteers. To all the participants, thank you for being a part of this most important endeavor to lift up so many families across the state from right here in Memphis, Tennessee. To read more about Team Blue volunteers, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee, Healthy Places, and other ways they're devoted to helping our communities, please visit bcbst.com.
At Progressive, we know money can't buy happiness. But money did buy your boat, where you find peace fishing, unlike at home with 3 teenage daughters. Because fish never argue about who stole whose crop top, or get mad the other fish used up all the hot water. No, they just swim around, never embarrassed to be seen with you in public. So save money by bundling your boat or RV insurance with home or auto from Progressive. And buy more happiness, or something close to it. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers, not available in all states.
Drive like a pro and support a great cause during the sales drive at Landers Sport in Collierville, Landers Sport South in South Haven, and Landers Sport North in Covington. We've provided over 100 new Fords to be driven by the pros at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. Now they're all being sold with demo prices. That's right, over 100 new Fords driven by the pros are being sold with demo pricing below market value. A portion of the proceeds go directly to the St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. This is a once-a-year opportunity to trade up and drive like a pro while supporting a great cause. Visit LandersMemphis.com. That's LandersMemphis.com. Or come see us at Landers Sport in Collierville, Landers Sport South in South Haven, or Landers Sport North in Covington. With our Landers Easy Pass, you can get top dollar for your trade-in to help you save even more. Don't miss your chance. Reserve your demo-priced new Ford driven by a pro at the FedEx St. Jude Championship and lock in low APR financing. Remember, if it doesn't say Landers, you paid too much.
Summertime's finally here, and that means it's time to party. Lucky for you, Family Leisure is having a summertime to party sale. Now, what's all included in this party sale? Practically everything. 24-foot above ground pools for as little as $19.99. All ladders, filter systems, and even robotic cleaners are 20% off. Come in and look at all of the in-stock patio furniture Family Leisure has. Plus, it's up to 50% off. Play gyms for the kids, that's $1,000 off. Patio umbrellas, take 20% off. You can get a 4-person hot tub for just under $3,000. We know you're really going to just use it for yourself. Family Leisure has discounted pricing on all in-stock pool toys and floats while the supplies last, so you better get in quick. Plus, Family Leisure has special financing available. Just ask an associate for all the details. Summertime means party time, and Family Leisure is ready for any party. Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun all come together.
Now back to Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, Brett, my big number today is the number 11. Last night, San Francisco's rookie Tyler Fitzgerald became the first Giant with 11 home runs in a 17-game stretch since Barry Bonds, who completed the feat between July 2nd and July 24th in 2023. He's also the fourth shortstop in AL/NL history to do it, joining Trey Turner, Troy Tulowitzki, and Alex Rodriguez. So the rookie Tyler Fitzgerald, he's already off to a hot start in his Major League Baseball career. The Giants are hot, and that's going to be a fun game tonight as they're on the road against the Nationals.
And we know when you're and they have been for stuck under 500. When you get to 500, that's the kind of the first win, and they're now 57 up, 57 down, trying to get hot. My big number is 28, as in 28 years ago. That was the Summer Olympics of 1996 in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say today outside has been hot, wouldn't you?
Yes, I would agree with that.
Summer of 96 in Atlanta, it was brutal.
Oh man,
it was a scorcher. The national press corps all whining about it being hot in Atlanta. What they expect when they had the Olympics in August in
Summer
Atlanta?
Olympics in Atlanta. It sounds like a hot one.
Also that year, the U.S. basketball team, they went 8-0 by margins of 28, 33, 22, 63, and 31.
Whoa.
Quarterfinals, 23 over Brazil. Semifinals, 28 over Australia. And in the finals over Yugoslavia, 26.
I'm sorry, Brett. I got to back up. Who in the world did they beat by 63?
I think Angola.
Okay. Wow.
I think.
That's incredible.
That was the dream team that Penny Hardaway was on.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Tiger great, Memphian great, Anthony Penny Hardaway. My contention, 96 was as good, if not better, than 92. It just didn't have the hoopla. Had a lot of the same players. Barkley played again. Jordan played again.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the first time, kind of have the dream team together. Speaking of Penny Hardaway, he had 17 in the finals against Yugoslavia. He had 14 in the semis.
How about that? Wow.
Penny Hardaway was a great Olympian.
Yeah, no, you're
great gold medal winner.
Sure, and it gets forgotten, Brett. Like I don't think enough people bring that
up. It
does.
And it's not fair to him, and it's not fair to them. We rightfully, when we talk about Stern's vision, what 92 did, and it set off the global game that the NBA now enjoys and we enjoy, and all the stars. I mean, Yugoslavia is not even a country anymore.
No.
But the United States, it is, and we were as good, if not better, in 96 than 92, but all we can do is sit around and just kind of tell ourselves how great about 92.
Oh, that's right, yes, the dream team. I mean, books, movies, documentaries, the whole 9 yards.
Everything, and deserved.
Yes.
But why does 96 have to be forgotten?
That's a really good point, because you're right, it is forgotten. I think Penny Hardaway in his Olympic career forgotten about a ton. And so, yeah, it is definitely interesting. But those
unfair to him
crazy.
about his injury and his NBA career.
Sure.
It's not forgotten. It was great.
Oh yeah,
but it just wasn't long.
Sure. Yes, and certainly that has kind of affected things. But obviously, when
but it
he
wasn't
was
short
healthy,
either.
No, when he was healthy, he can't miss. And I mean, you listen to guys that played in that era and that same time that went up against him and said, man, if that guy had not had the injuries, if his career hadn't been cut short, I mean, we're talking about a all-time great, can't miss.
And nothing was keeping Shaq out of Lakerland.
No. I mean, that's it was rough. But
Shaq, the persona,
sure, it just fit.
Yeah,
I mean, if Shaq had never gone to L.A., it just wouldn't have made sense. I mean, Shaq can't be Shaq without
L.A. He had to play in L.A. That's
exactly.
Right.
I mean, it only makes sense.
Almost like, maybe not as much, but with the college tie to it, Kareem had to end up in L.A.
Sure.
too.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, there are guys that have the big personality, and it just some guys just fit with different teams. And
Kareem doesn't play out 22 years in Milwaukee.
No, not at all. Not at all. And it's not just LA. I mean, like there are players that fit other teams and other organizations, and it just fits. I mean, it just it makes a ton of sense. And so, you're right. But it was it was kind of messy when it happened. But
everybody out there should know about the exploits of the '96 team. That Penny Hardaway was a big force in.
Absolutely. And I'm curious after this happens this year, what we think they'll win gold again. How this team will be remembered, this group, because it's certainly.
You like those margins,
It's not been easy.
You?
Oh, that was crazy. I mean, honestly.
28, 33, 22, 63, 31, 23, 28, 26.
I mean, that's insane. I honestly, the first time, I'm glad you said it again, because once I heard 63, I kind of stuck on that and was like.
You got a black out.
Holy cow. 63 points. I mean, that's incredible. So, yes, that was a really good big number.
I mean, just to get that many trips up and down the court to have that kind of margin.
That's crazy. I can't even wrap my head around it.
I would suggest to the other team at some point, I would say, I'm going to use 48. Let's start holding the ball a little bit.
Sure, yes. Let's work the shot.
Let's try to
clock
limit
a little bit.
this.
Yes, we don't got to just run down and take up a shot.
I don't know the magic point, but 48 would do it.
There's definitely a number. I don't know what it is, but it's something. But definitely a good big number. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour number 2 in the books. And when we come back, we got to talk a ton of NFL. Bo Marchant, he joins us on the other side. We'll talk about all of the news around the NFL, also AFC East quarterback and coach rankings. We'll do that next on Sports Time.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
You've got questions? O'Reilly Auto Parts has answers. Need a pro you can trust? We've got that too. No matter what you need, our professional parts people have the training and expertise to help you do things right. Deep automotive knowledge. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
When you think about insurance and you want great value without sacrificing great service, I want you to think one place, the Eflin Insurance and the entire Eflin Insurance team. Matt and his group of professionals will access 10 leading companies to find the right home and auto program that fits your budget and your absolute needs. The Eflin Insurance team, the number 386-GER, 386-4777.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
It's regular season out there.
us today at Wrangler.com.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the alley since 1948.
Brett, we have catered parties all over this country and all over the world, from Singapore, Australia to Central Park in New York. But many people don't realize how much we do locally. For holiday events, office parties, tailgating, birthday parties, you can't do better than the Rendezvous. For example, you can get a cheese and sausage tray for 15 to 300 people for $3.75 per person. You can even build your own nacho bar for $10.50 per person. All you need is a minimum of 15 people. In many cases, we can arrange delivery and full-service catering. We've even made it easy to get to-go items. You can just park at our front door in the alley, put on your flashes, and we'll get you going ASAP. For all your catering items and prices, go to hogsfly.com, click on menu, and drop down to catering.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. It's cranking in pretty good out here now, right on schedule through the Midtown area on 240 southbound at South Parkway down to Norris. 240 east once again a little bit busy again over here going eastbound passing Mill Branch all the way out to 385. Once you get on to Bill Morris Parkway, pretty good shape right now with our fingers crossed here on 385 as you continue out towards Collierville. Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub. Curbless shower conversion. Log on now, havenlyshowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
National Football League talk every Tuesday with Bo Marchant, covering the NFL Draft at collegetopro.com and the NFL Draft Bible, covering the Steelers for Sports Illustrated, living and running in Eastern Ohio, and on Twitter X at Bo Marchant. Here's Bo with Bryant and Brett.
Bo Marchant joins us every Tuesday afternoon to talk the NFL. Plenty of stuff to get into today. We've also got to get to our AFC East quarterback and coach rankings. But Bo, thanks so much for joining us. You were at the Hall of Fame game last Thursday, or at least the 2.5 quarters that we were able to see before the storm came through. What were your takeaways from that game? And more importantly, what did you think of the new kickoff that we'll see this year in the NFL?
Yeah, well, the new kickoff was hard to get used to. I think it's a work in progress, and just like the preseason itself, I don't think anything was fine tuned, but nonetheless, watching it, I just think I think they're going to have to go through with what it is right now, but I think there'll be changes to it as we move forward. Maybe just I think it looked a little chaotic and bunched up at times initially compared to what it was like, and it's new to us. So it's a matter of us getting acquainted with it. And if this was the rule all along and they switched it to what it was, then I would probably be in the same boat where, I'm not yet comfortable with it. But nice high-scoring game. I mean, watching those teams go up and down the field at a Hall of Fame game was you don't see that too often. Right. And that was refreshing just in terms of a competitive game and, a fun game to watch, if you will. I mean, sometimes it can be a little bit of a snoozer because you have so many new guys working with each other and such a, it's still preseason football, but it's for these individuals that are playing in that game. It's still a high stakes affair. So I'm sure that the butterflies and all the angst are in there, but nice event as always. I just feel bad for the city. I mean, the last couple of years, the weather has not cooperated. Saturday, horrific storms going through Northeast Ohio. I mean, going up there, it was, I think when I got in my car, it said I would be there by 11:01, and by the time I got done, it was an hour and 37-minute trip. So it just kind of shows you there was blinkers and pulling off to the side of the roads as the storms rushed through.
Wow.
Yeah, you screenshot the radar to me about 30 minutes before they canceled it, and it was just no way they were going to be able to get that game in. D'Amico Ryans, he's got it, though. The Texans they're going places, aren't they?
Yeah, they believe in him, and he's been hot, as we know. I mean, that's what got him the job. Is he really did well in San Francisco as a D coordinator, and he's kind of risen up the charts. Just a good coaching candidate from all aspects as he's built his career. And, he's gone there. They believe in him, and they have a guy named C.J. Stroud. And that combination of a great young head coach and a fantastic quarterback, as it appears, and with both individuals, young great coach and up-and-coming superstar quarterback, that is the combination, a la Sean McVay, Jared Goff, Super Bowl, Zach Taylor, Joe Burrow, Super Bowl. So it comes early, and these are the kind of little combinations. When it happens, it usually happens in that first 2 to 3 year window when these guys take over.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, we've got a lot of news coming out today that I'm curious your thoughts of, and it has to do with a guy that we've talked a ton about over these last couple of years, Brandon Ayuk. It looks like we've got another stall in the contract negotiations, and it looks like a trade is the most likely outcome. This morning, it sounded like Patriots and Browns were kind of the two leaders, and it felt like it was down to those two teams. There was frameworks for a trade worked out with both of those teams, but this afternoon, I'm now seeing the Steelers back in that mix. What have you made of the reports earlier today, and where do the Steelers sit in all of this?
Well, I'm disappointed because I think when camp opened, I asked Omar Khan, the general manager of the Steelers, if they had any talks about Brandon Ayuk. And he didn't say Brandon Ayuk. He just says all the GMs talk. So who knows what those discussions are about? And obviously he can't tell us. But I told you guys, I still think the Steelers are in play even before this news broke that the 49ers were to offer him permission to seek a trade, and the Steelers were one of the teams that were, mentioned in the teams that, he's negotiating with. And I just think it's par for course. Omar Khan, he's determined to upgrade this roster, and if he's going to, he says it basically not verbatim, but, if they can go out and improve the team, then, even if it works, they're going to do it. They're not going to be shy about making these moves. And as we've seen under his direction, they'll do that. Who knows what the parameters of the deal would think. Trent Williams, a 14-year vet, one of the greatest Hall of Famer for sure, is holding out, but he's 36. The Steelers do have lots of linemen. They took, Broderick Jones and Troy Fatanu in the last two first rounds, so they could, be the tackle. So maybe like a guy like Dan Moore Jr., who's been manning that left side for the last 3 years, maybe he's included in the deal to offer the 49ers some help on O-line. Everybody can always use help on the O-line. So I'm sure there'll be other compensation, but this just seems like the wheel's in motion, and we're getting into preseason football. And and the other point, too, I should make is, this is also an opportunity for the 49ers to tell Brandon, listen, we really don't want to match what you're asking. Mm-hmm. We're going to allow you to test the market. And you might come back and go, you know what, they don't want to give me that either. So it might be a little bit of a reality check, or it could become, hey, you know what, the Browns are going to meet your demands. They're going to give you what you want, and the 49ers are going to get what they want as well. So, it's one of those things that's just part of the business. I still don't think he's on the level with your Justin Jeffersons, your Tyreek Hills, and like a Jamar Chase. I don't think that. But nonetheless, he's entitled to what he's going to get, and it's greener pastures for another team, or, you leave a Super Bowl contender in the 49ers. So a lot to think about if you're Brandon Ayuk.
I know it's hard to answer this, Bo, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How many wins difference? He's healthy. He has 110 catches. How big a win difference does he make? Is it 2?
They won't. Well, maybe. They won 10 last year. I think they gave 2 away with Arizona and New England. They were the 2 worst teams in the league at that point. But nonetheless, they did lose those games. 12 games, but 12. I think 11, but winning 11 convincingly, if that's fair to say. I think if they won 10 games last year, but they were ugly. They were just no offense, no offensive identity. The defense had to bail you out with miracles. I think if the Steelers could say, hey, you know what, we're going to win 11 games, we're going to get a wild card, and we're going to be, just say, 15th in offense with Brandon Ayuk, I think they would sign up for that, and they would be competitive in that sense. I think any game that they go into under last year's team, they just weren't going to be competitive. It was going to be an ugly offense where you had to fight tooth and nail just to get some points on the board, and you had to hope that the defense was going to be able to nearly shut out their opponents, which is an impossibility in professional football, and that's what they were dealing with, and they won 10. But so I'd say 11, because I even think last year 10. the way they played down the stretch, they got hot, which is a Tomlin characteristic. They always kind of, when you count them out, Tomlin kind of rallies that team to finish above where they are. So I think 11 wins with IU. But, again, 11 wins is a lot of wins in the National Football League.
Sure is.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I saw earlier this afternoon somebody kind of putting out what the Steelers would likely put in a trade to get Brandon Ayuk. What would the Steelers have to give up in order to get Brandon Ayuk?
Well, I mean, if it's going to be just players, or players and picks, I think O-line would be a possibility. I don't think they're going to part with other pieces. Receiver wise, their only key piece is George Pickens, so I think it'd be counterproductive to move on. I know they're not going to move Pickens, but if they would move Pickens and get Ayuk, you're kind of right back where you started. I think they want a kind of a two-headed monster, a la T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Actually what the 49ers have in Deebo Samuel and Ayuk. They will no longer have that. So I think those are some of the scenarios where, O-lineman, maybe a pick, and the money. This is where the Niners are getting off as well. Is they're not going to have to pay the high salary to Ayuk, and they're going to get something back. So there's a little bit of leverage for everybody. Ayuk eventually is going to play. We know that he's not going to hold out for the year. He's not going to pull a Le'Veon Bell. But there's leverage for him with that side. There's leverage for the 49ers to say, hey, we can keep you, and we will fine you, and you have no other options. Or, the teams have leverage saying, hey, you have a disgruntled guy in your locker room, and, we'll give you this. So I think everybody has a little bit of a leverage on each other. It's just about finding a happy place. I think the way things are going, I think by this time next Tuesday, we're going to find out where Brandon, Ayuk is going to start playing games in 2024. I don't think it'll be with the 49ers as it stands now.
But we're going to do these coaching rankings for the AFC East here in a bit next week. Our last one, can you believe it? We'll have gone through every one of them, NFC East next week, and we know a coach or two in that division on a lot of hot seats. All these rankings we've done, who, in your opinion, is the best coach in the NFL?
Right now?
Yep.
Oh, I have to say Shanahan. I know he has a loaded team, but yeah, I told you guys, I love the way he just gets the most out of everybody. It seems all the pieces there fit perfectly into the puzzle.
I think he's certified genius.
Yeah, he is. I do think Shanahan, and then I would put outliers: Tomlin, Reed, Harbaugh, as just off the top of my head. But I think right now, just with the organization itself, and we know John Lynch is the general manager and whatnot, but we know that's Kyle Shanahan's team, and there's nothing that's going to be, I think, done without his approval or disapproval. So I think he's doing a fabulous job, and we know his dad Mike. I think he's a Hall of Fame coach. I
do too.
Back-to-back Super Bowls with the Broncos, and
and did a good job with the Raiders.
He did a great job with the Raiders. So it's just weird how some guys have, they're immediately sworn into the hallowed halls of the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and then you kind of just scratch your head and you look at it. I mean, even Randy Gradishar, not to get off topic, but you think this guy played 10 years for the Broncos. 7 of those 10 years, he was an All-Pro, and 1 year he was the Defensive Player of the Year. And it's always statistics that are just, gaudy. If you're a fantasy guy using defenses, you would have gladly signed up to have Randy Gradishar on your team. But it's just amazing how these guys. But he played in an era of the Steel Curtain and all these other monsters at linebacker. And I think
Dallas's defenses,
Dallas's defense, and you just get swept away. And I think Shanahan kind of was part of that. Maybe Elway gets all the credit, and Shanahan was just along for the ride. But nonetheless, the way he did it, and Kyle's been able to piggyback off of it and really kind of bring it to light in today's NFL. So I'd say Kyle. I just think what they have going on, which is a big part of him, I think is critical.
I don't want to belittle John Elway, but before Mike Shanahan got to Denver, how many Super Bowls had he won? Zip.
That's exactly, yeah.
And Dan Reeves was a good football coach, but they weren't ever winning it. Back to last weekend, then the speeches. I thought Randy Gradishar's was really good. I loved the fundamental religious Christian faith that he espoused from that podium. I loved that he got up there and talked about it. I loved the Woody Hayes stories. But Steve McMichael, we knew going into it that was going to be the the poignant one, and it was every year. There's one that really gets to everybody's feels, and just seeing him and knowing the battle. And I hear people talking about the battle he's in with ALS. It's no battle to it. I had an uncle not far from this radio station, right over here on Kirby Bryant. He had ALS, and that's where he was. There's no battle to it. You don't have a prayer against it.
No. Yeah, I texted you during the moment, and I had no idea how they were going to present it to him. I got shivers when you mentioned it, Brett. I did. I could still picture it, and I was in the press box, and I looked at the guy next to me, and I'm like, hey man, I go, I think we're all going to be in tears soon.
Yeah,
and
it's in good.
Yeah, I think we're. And by ran into Misty McMichaels after the enshrinement, his wife, and had a moment to talk to her. Super nice. But I said, wow, I go, you know, that was really impressive. What happened. And I was like, I don't know. She was just so strong and so just positive. And she's like, oh, you don't worry about it. And, and I was like, wow, I mean, she's the one dealing with this and she's telling me not to worry about it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I was, you don't love to have anybody in that position. But when you kind of dwell in the things that we dwell about that we shouldn't dwell about, and you see people with real adversity and the way that they have a prosperous spirit and
So
they
true.
carry a brightness about them, that rubs on, at least when I walked away, I'm like, hey, buddy, wake up and appreciate what you have.
You sure better. You sure better. Our bad days are just nothing compared
Right.
to what she's already had seen. It. And she came off very much, and I mean this lovingly and complimentary, she came off very much as a football wife. She had been through the wars.
Yeah, she was great. She was super, and just and those are the fun things. Those little run-ins or unexpected things at the hall where me and my buddy were walking up the steps just to who comes walking up behind us is Eric Dickerson and Marcus Allen.
You sent me a good picture of Eric Dickerson, and
I had to. I wasn't I wasn't letting that one pass, Brett. Those, in
That's
my
a good
Hall
one.
of Fame, he's got to be a top. My wife said to my wife, and she knew how much that meant to me, and it's fun to be a fan sometimes too. It's we get caught up in you got to do your job. You just you can't go in the locker room and ask for a helmet and all that stuff. But nonetheless, there's those opportunities where you get to be a fan a little bit and
Sure.
and appreciate it and and kind of just your childhood idols, the guys that you really looked up to and really cheered for. It's fun to kind of see them.
I take you back to you. I saw Eric Dickerson play twice in college when I was a freshman in '81 in Fayetteville. Last game of the year, I think, against SMU, 32-18. They had Dickerson and James and Lance McElhaney running the wishbone. And then the next year at Texas Stadium in a 17-17 tie, Bryant, that was one of the top 10 games I've ever been to. But Eric Dickerson, in both of those games, every time, whether it was on the option read or it wasn't many just straight toss sweeps out of the wishbone they ran, but when he would get it, I'm not kidding you, the whole stadium would collectively hold its breath because it might be for 4 or it might be for 84.
Wow.
Brad, this is why I love you. It's just how it's like you had that written down. You didn't. You just said boom, boom, 32-17, and you knew that's
32-18.
32-18.
And a really odd score to land on that. Not many of those. And then the next year, 17-17. I've been to 2 or 3 classic ties. I promise you I have.
Wow.
I believe it.
Yeah, definitely. I believe that. And just to say you got to see Eric Dickerson play twice, that's enough to float my boat.
The original NIL player got that gold Trans Am from A&M and drove it to Highland Park.
They're all original NIL players.
Oh,
It's just on the surface now, I think.
No, you're absolutely right about that. I'm curious, kind of the big story today in the NFL has been the Giants and Lions joint practice. Yesterday we had a big scuffle. I heard there was another one today during practice, but yesterday made it very intriguing because Daniel Jones, the starting quarterback in his red jersey, tried to get involved in the scuffle coming off of that big injury last year. What did you make of QB1 trying to jump into the scuffle?
Well, when you're hit 88 times or whatever he's been hit, you don't mind taking another one to practice to get your teammates fired up. That's, I think he's just saying, hey, you know what? I get a lot of ridicule. People beat me down, but I'm here, and I'm going to try to get this team behind me and show a little courage. And I think that started because his lineman got shoved, and he was sticking up for the lineman. So kind of bringing the lineman into, life, saying, hey, I got your back, too, even though I'm the QB. So I like it. I think Malik Neighbors got in the one today.
He
so
sure did.
They're getting after it. And next week, the Bills and Steelers will have a joint practice in the Trove on Thursday.
Right.
And the way it's been going amongst the Steelers, it might be a rumble next Thursday in Latrobe as these two teams take back. Because
it will be because they never forget.
Yeah. No, they don't. And even Tomlin said after practice today, he was like, it was a good practice, high intensity. The guys are getting after it. I don't know if we talked about it last week. There was a play where, what was it? Patrick Queen or Landon Roberts hit Justin Fields, and then Mason McCormick, the rookie, just lit into Landon Roberts. I mean, you're talking about a full-blown lineman going out, and then, what ensued afterwards was a big, brawl and, punches thrown. It was wild. It was
You
really,
be careful out there, Bo.
you
Don't
got
catch any
to.
glancing blows.
Well, they asked me to step in. They were going to throw me. Yeah, but it's intense. But what's funny is it's literally it's that, and then it's just literally right back to normal. It never happened, and it is. It's just the heat of the moment, and it's the game, and obviously with the quarterback, it's and a young rookie. You're talking about a rookie saying, "Hey, I'm going to stick up for my QB."
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's not what you want to see as a coach, but nonetheless, it's what you like to see as a coach is
Daniel
these
Jones
linemen are
ain't
protecting the quarterback.
All right, let's rank AFC East quarterbacks and AFC East head coaches. Bo, you go first.
I'm going to go Allen, Tua, Rodgers, and May, or whoever's going to start in New England. So I'm going to go that way. Did you say quarterback? I went quarterback. If you didn't go quarterback, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so you went Josh Allen, Tua second, Rodgers third.
Wow.
Yeah.
Drake May fourth.
Wow.
Yeah, Drake May fourth. So
no copy and paste today,
No,
Brian.
I was right. We're not going to get a copy and paste. I'll go 4-1. Fourth, I've got Drake May. 3, Tua. 2, Josh Allen. And number 1, Aaron Rodgers.
Well, Brian, Brian and I did copy and paste. Maybe we're around each other too much. We're around each other a lot, but I don't ever think too much.
No.
But I did the same thing. I went Aaron Rodgers. If he's on any list until the next Achilles tear, I'm going to have him probably number 1, Josh Allen 2. And the John Elway comments about that was a huge mistake not drafting him in Denver. 3, 2, 4, Drake May. Bryant, you start with coaches.
For coaches, I'll do the same. 4-1, Gerard Mayo at 4, just first-time coach. 3, Robert Saleh. 2, Sean McDermott. And number 1, Mike McDaniel.
Bo?
Ooh. Okay, I'm glad we're going to have fun with this one. I think Robert Saleh does the most. Listen, this guy's winning 7 games with Zach Wilson. That's like the equivalent of 15 games with Patrick Mahomes. So I'm actually going Robert Saleh. I'm going Mike McDaniel.
Wow.
I'm going Sean McDermott. And then just because Jared hasn't been a head coach, I'm going to go Mayo fourth.
I'm going to go the Tennessee Volunteer first-year head coach, 0-0 fourth as well. But I think he looked for the crash to identify him to be the replacement to Bill Belichick. They know that they've got something in him. So Gerard Mayo, number 4, and who knows? He could be head coach at Tennessee someday, Brian. You let the merry-go-round and the coaching carousel spin around, and he have some success with the Patriots. About the same time, Josh Heupel's leaving. Who knows if Rocky Top came calling? He's 4. I have Robert Saleh 3, Mike McDaniel with the Dolphins 2, and just what Sean McDermott has done, all those division titles, for years, Bo, when we would do this segment, who's ever going to win it after the Patriots? Well, it's been Buffalo.
Yeah.
It has been. And though Brandon being the GM, this all goes back to having a quarterback on the team. And, if you have a guy like Josh Allen, you're a head coach. It does. And, if you took, we could go through all these coaches. If you took Rodgers off, Saleh, you took Tua off McDaniels and Allen off McDermott, we might put Mayo number one. That's how critical the quarterback position is. But this, I hate saying this, guy. I think I say it every week, but I love doing this. But I love each division. Like when you really start to nook and cranny and really just maybe overindulge into it, it's hard. Off the top of your head, hard. You can say that. But I kind of look and and I always go with the coach I think who does more with less, and that's why Saleh was my one. But I just think this is a talented coaching division. And even Mayo fourth, as you mentioned. To replace a legend, just to have the guts to do that, is impressive enough. So
I have one of these teams in the Super Bowl.
Wow!
Ooh. I think you're going Jets because you were just high on Rodgers. So who knows? But I'm going to say that. But August 6th, I'm going to say the Jets. But we'll find out eventually, I think.
AFC predictions in 2 weeks. Next week, NFC East. 2 weeks, AFC. 3 weeks NFC.
Holy
and then
cow.
game week. Isn't that glorious?
That's crazy.
That's this. I'm telling you guys, we're here. I mean, I knew we were here, but Friday I'll see my second preseason football game. It's hard to believe, and our hometown last Friday had their cookout sausage fry for our high school football team, and it just blows my mind. There's not 1 year where that doesn't approach, and I'm like, what? That's today or that's next week?
Yeah.
It just seems like it should be 3 weeks away, but. And everybody says the same thing about the Hall of Fame. As we all sit in the press box, we're all talking to each other saying, how are we here for preseason football? We love it. We're not arguing about that. We don't want to be there. We love seeing it. But it's just so bizarre that it always catches you off guard.
It just goes by too fast. I'm telling you, from September 1 through December 31, it's 122 days. That's the fastest 122 days on any calendar every year.
Yeah. And then, it's funny, and as much as I love this, once the season ends, it's draft, and then the draft starts, I'm back.
It never ends.
It never ends. It is. It's
I don't want it to end.
I guess it's like the seasons. I mean, I like fall, I like winter, I like summer, I like spring, and you kind of get that all with the NFL. I mean, it's a 24, 7-day-a-week cycle. I mean, we know that. I mean, we talk every Tuesday, and I don't think we ever. At least us three, when we have to talk, there's nothing that we can't fill time or a topic to discuss that we almost don't get it in because we have so much to talk about.
Oh, yeah. No, plenty of times right now I have multiple questions that we didn't have enough time to get to. That's just how much news in the NFL. But, Bo, as always, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll do it again next week.
Stay safe, gentlemen. I bet one of those questions was about CeeDee Lamb, but we'll talk about him next week.
It
Stay
definitely
safe, guys.
was. You know me very well, Bo. Thanks. Bo Marchant joining us like he does every week to talk the NFL, and he's absolutely right. It was a CeeDee Lamb question, it was a Jalen Daniels question, and it was a question about the Raiders. How about that?
Yeah.
Try to get the Raiders in there. But, no, plenty of NFL news and crazy. First full week of preseason games this weekend will definitely be a ton of fun. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Less is more? No, more is more. That's why Taco Bell's new $7 Luxe Cravings box is stacked with all your cheesy, crunchy favorites. Think a beefy 5-layer burrito, a double-stacked taco, a Chuba Supreme, chips and nacho cheese sauce, and a drink. For for just $7. Live Lux for less at Taco Bell and sign up for rewards to earn free. Participating Taco Bell stores for limited time only. Supplies last. Price and participation varies. Drinks exclude freezes. Tax extra. Rewards program subject to terms and conditions. Concerned about qualifying purchases.
Get the highest quality diamond ring at a rock-bottom price right now at Genesis Diamonds. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine, and don't be surprised this week to see other jewelry store owners shopping at Genesis Diamonds. They'll be taking advantage of Genesis' most aggressive offer ever. All GIA diamond engagement rings marked down an extra 20% below Genesis' everyday price. The GIA is the world standard in diamond grading, certifying accuracy, and documenting quality, so you can buy with confidence. Every Genesis engagement ring is included in this event. From a half carat up to 20 carat stones, all shapes, rounds, ovals, radiants, cushion cuts, pear shapes, apple cuts, and princess cuts. There's never been a better time to get an extreme value price on a GIA certified diamond, perfectly set in a gorgeous engagement ring. Hurry in for the best selection. Save an extra 20% off those rare, precious diamond rings now for a limited time. One per customer, please. Exclusively at Genesis Diamonds on Palmer and Perkins Extended. See store for details.
With all the uncertainty in the economy, the pre-election wobbles. Is my money really safe? That's when I discovered the power of a gold IRA from Noble Gold Investments. It's a tangible asset that can help protect your wealth when times get tough. And with Noble Gold Investments, it was so easy to roll over my existing IRA into a self-directed gold IRA. Their experts guided me through every step. I've diversified my retirement portfolio with something real. Don't wait for the election uncertainty to threaten your financial security. Vote for the timeless safety of gold and silver in 2024. Oh, and hear this. They're giving away up to 10 1-ounce silver Trump coins or a 10-ounce silver American flag bar with a qualifying account. Just visit noblegoldinvestments.com now and use the promo code TRUMP. That's noblegoldinvestments.com. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. Investing in precious metals, including gold, involves risks. Consult with your tax attorney or financial professional before making an investment decision.
Top Gun is the largest indoor range in the Mid-South, but size isn't their only difference. Top Gun has the best instructors with over 300 years combined experience and classes all the way from first shot to master marksmanship. Plus, Top Gun is affordable. Gold membership is just $48 a month. That's just $1.60 a day for unlimited range time. Free gun rentals with purchase of ammo and members lounge access. Top Gun 2770 Witten Road and TopGunMemphis.com. Always shoot with the best. Top Gun Memphis.
Jason's Deli. When you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises. Just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it. Because you're not just taking the bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, vegan and gluten-free options available, convenience, and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com. So whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, locations at Ridgeway and the Park Place Center, Poplar Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and Goodman Road in Highland Branch. Jason's Deli is wholesome food and no surprises. Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. There's still a bit of volume in the Midtown area. It's been active today with several different accidents. It's a little bit crowded at times. I-40 westbound at Danny Thomas headed back over across the Hernando de Soto Bridge. Busy, but it's moving for the most part. Over here on 240 getting on to 385 Billmores Parkway as that traffic volume cranks up out towards Collierville. Havenly Showers, your curbless shower specialist. Transform your bathroom with a tub curbless shower conversion. HavenlyShowers.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Welcome back in Sports Time. Brian Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios. We got a little bit less than 30 minutes left in today's show. We got to talk about what's trending, and we just got done talking about the NFL with Bo Marchand. A couple things I wanted to bring up. about the NFL. I'll start with one of the questions I was going to ask Bo. The Commanders announced earlier today rookie quarterback quarterback said he's done enough through camp to be the team's starting quarterback. Brett, through this preseason, what do you want to see from Jaden Daniels?
Just command of the team. I used to would say command of the huddle, but we don't have a huddle. But you can tell the leader, just him provide the leadership and make the throws he should be making. Nothing Herculean, nothing spectacular, but just lead the team, and he will.
Yeah,
he'll do that for them. And I think they would be more scared if he wasn't able to do this. It's like May in New England. I don't know that he's going to be it, and if he's not, then when will he be?
Yeah. No, I mean it's a good question.
You got to throw him in there now. It's not even wait like the Packers did on Aaron Rodgers, like the Packers did for Jordan Love. We're not doing that anymore.
No. I mean, it's these top guys. They're going to get them in there and get them in there early. And so with Jaden Daniels, I know there's been a lot of question about his size, but he's a guy that was around college football for a really really long time, and he's not a young guy. They
knew his size the day they drafted.
Certainly, and but obviously with Bryce Young last year, everyone kind of is now questioning the shorter quarterback.
And Bryce Young's having a really good August, and he has more help around him than he had last year.
Yeah, and I think that was kind of the biggest issue for him, not, his size. It was more of what he had around him. He just had nothing around him.
He hung in there and played tough, though.
He did.
He got hit more last year than he did his whole time at Bama.
Yes, he did. You're definitely right about that. And
Bama had him in a safe cocoon.
Mm-hmm. No, they certainly did. And so I think he'll be better this year. I think the Panthers will be a little better this year offensively, and maybe can give him some better protection and make him look better at the end of the day. But it is going to be fun. One of the best things about preseason is seeing these rookies, seeing those young quarterbacks, and what they've got. And so all eyes will be on the Commanders, all eyes will be on the Bears, all eyes will be on New England to see these young guys that were taken at the top of the draft.
Now you know who's warped everybody's thinking on young quarterbacks.
Kyler Murray. Oh, young quarterbacks. No, I thought you were talking about short quarterbacks again.
Patrick Mahomes.
Certainly, yes. That is definitely.
Everybody's kind of expecting, hey, go do what he did.
Sure.
And had a little more ready-made team. It's why I think I'm not saying the Bears or the Kansas City Chiefs, but I think the cast around Caleb Williams gives him a chance as a rookie, as a young quarterback, to get some confidence.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know there's a lot of intrigue with this Bears team, with what they've got, what they're bringing back, and what they added not only with him, but, you also have Dunze out there at receiver that you're bringing in as a rookie. And so, you pair him with DJ Moore. And, it feels like that could be a team that, yes, usually when you talk about teams that have a rookie quarterback and, the number one pick, it's going to be what we saw from the Panthers last year. But it feels like the Bears could maybe buck that trend a little bit and be a much more competitive team.
But we've seen young quarterbacks absolutely wrecked and ruined.
Certainly. I mean, there's a long list of them. And so that's, gives them a lot of pause and, how you want to go about these young quarterbacks. But, I think you're going to see a lot of these young guys in there early. So it's going to be fun to watch. But Thursday night, we get those first preseason games. Brett, something else NFL-related I wanted to bring up. We talked a lot. We talked yesterday. We talked today about Michigan and kind of what's happening with them on the football side. Jim Harbaugh was asked about it yesterday afternoon about the NCAA allegations. He denied all wrongdoing and went on to say, "Today I do not apologize," and that he did not know about any wrongdoing during his national title run. What'd you make of what Jim Harbaugh had to say?
I don't know how he couldn't know. I mean, if he didn't know, he didn't want to know. They wouldn't let it get to him, the whole plausible deniability. We know all that through the years with the recruiting jive, and the head coach thinks those players just happen to show up there.
Sure, yes.
As I had somebody tell me about a very famous college quarterback in the SEC, he said that the booster or the coach must have thought he just showed up here on a chariot. We made sure he showed up here.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting, and now with what Jim Harbaugh is doing now, obviously not with Michigan, in the NFL now with the Chargers, he doesn't really have to worry about what happens with this NCAA investigation anymore. But obviously, because he was the head coach, he's going to get a lot of questions of it. This ain't going to be the last time he's asked about Michigan because of whatever happens from this, whatever stems from this. They're obviously going to ask him more about what he thinks of it. So the questions are not going to end, but it definitely does not seem like, even though he's not with Michigan anymore, doesn't seem like he's changing his story at all. He's going to continue to say what he's been saying.
Now, if you had an assistant coach, either a whistleblower or name, say, yeah, he knew, and here's the text chain or here's the email chain to it, then that would that would put Sharon Moore in jeopardy. The Chargers don't care what happened at Michigan.
No. The Chargers have seen what he can do not only as a college coach, but also
Jim
an NFL
Harbaugh's not
coach.
losing his job.
No, they don't care. I mean, we could get one of the worst penalties for Michigan. We're not going to, but something terrible could happen to Michigan as a result of this in terms of punishment. Chargers wouldn't care. They hired him because of the coach he is. They don't care about what happened at Michigan last year.
I don't know what the percentage is, but I think it's in play. Sharon Moore doesn't coach a game.
Yeah, it's starting to get really, really interesting.
Right now, I'd give it
Sharon
about
Moore.
15-20%.
Yeah, definitely.
But just think about that: a guy 0-0 never, and Michigan was going to have a tough time replacing him and replacing all that talent. And they did, and they will. You better enjoy that title.
Certainly. And I think, Brett, I remember back when, magazines first came out and we had our hands on them. We were looking through the top 10, top 25 and, kind of talking about them. And we both said the odd team out feels like Michigan. And that was before we knew about any of this stuff. Now with this stuff on top of it, kind of this distraction, you didn't have to worry about this being much of a distraction with that Michigan team last year. Had all those veterans, all those guys coming back. They had that head coach that had been through it at the NFL level, had been through it at the college level. He knew what he was doing. But now this year, replacing all of that talent, a first-year head coach, that could be a much bigger distraction than what it was last year.
And you just wonder if the NCAA really, and they play rough and they play really nasty. They're chief extortionists of all time.
Yeah.
If they went to the right assistant coach and look, you're never going to work again unless you tell us everything we want to hear.
Oh, certainly. And that could definitely happen. And, that would definitely put some people, make them think a couple times, and we could get some information. Because when I saw yesterday the information about the 53 deleted text messages between Sharon Moore and Connor Stallions, to me that wasn't like anything like, I was just like, okay, whatever. But that was definitely more than I thought we were going to get from anything. And so, it could get interesting.
There's no doubt Stallions was doing it.
For sure. Yes, he was 100% doing it.
And I don't think there's any doubt there's no doubt he was reporting back to people. Does it reach all the way to the top of the head coach?
Yeah.
And did it make that big a difference in the outcome of the games?
Yeah. See, and that's where, and I know David Cobb joined us yesterday and said it with us. He said the same thing this morning with Johnny Radio, that kind of at the end of the day, when you looked at that Michigan team, it didn't feel like they were winning those games. It didn't feel like they were better than all the other teams in college football because they had a advantage because they were cheating. It felt like they had the players on the field that were much better than the players on any other team in the country. And so I think at the end of the day, maybe it gave them a little bit of an edge, but it felt like regardless of cheating, they were the best team in college football last year.
And there's still that story out there to help them. They may have fed stuff to South Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
In South Carolina's late season surge against Tennessee and Clemson. That knocked out two people Michigan needed knocked out.
It sure did. Brett, I'll be honest, I kind of forgot about that part of the story, but you're absolutely right. That's kind of another fold of it, and I'm curious kind of what we
Shane Beamer's done nothing before or since.
That's right, yes. But, had that big big push at the end of the season that they needed. And here we are again, Brett Beamer ball. We're getting ready for it. South Carolina, big year.
I don't buy it at all.
No, I don't either. Receiving votes, though. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Boy, I had somebody really needs to check his voting.
Yes. Yeah,
but my
South
biggest
Carolina
thing is
receives
I
votes.
just don't have, and we went around the room yesterday on who had a real problem with it. I don't, but who has the biggest problem with it is Ohio State.
Sure, definitely, and they're gonna make sure everyone knows about it, and and a big year for Ohio State, and they definitely are going to be loud about all of this stuff for Michigan. That's what I saw. I didn't see the reports of Tron Moore or any of the stuff that we got yesterday and over the weekend from ESPN or from CBS or any of that. I saw it from Ohio State accounts and blogs and stuff like that on Twitter saying, Michigan's really getting it now. Here we go. I mean,
it's better than beating them.
It's like you said.
And I love so many sports people that act like they're surprised by it. And like wherever they are, whatever region of the country, here or there, or way over there, acting like they've never heard of stuff like this.
Right,
it's a little bit like, do you remember the undercover or the player that had Lane Kiffin recorded? By the way, did you read anywhere about that story going nowhere, that case going nowhere and being dropped? Nope.
No.
You heard all those headlines.
Of course.
And people around here, that kind of language. Did you ever sit courtside and listen to John Calipari?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Do we want to go over what he called Earl Barron in front of everyone?
No.
I mean, all this fake outrage, you have no scruples. It doesn't bother you. No, I'm not being a phony and acting like this isn't anything new.
Yeah, that guy that just won back-to-back national championships in college basketball. I remember the couple times he was here at FedEx Forum coaching UConn. Dan Hurley.
And then we're surprised a college coach that he thinks in a private conversation uses some bad words.
Right, exactly. Yes, no, they all use bad words. No, it's wild. But yes, you can always count on your rival breaking the story for everybody else and making sure everybody knows.
I'll start getting upset about this when I hear about John Calipari publicly apologizing to Earl Barron.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't hold your breath on that one. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. And when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Crunch Time.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. And in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. For nearly 2 decades, we've installed some of the best roof systems across the Mid-South. To the tens of thousands of clients we've served, we are honored. So many of you call our team at Brian Elder Roofing your roofers. Our team is dedicated to serving you and keeping your family safe, dry, and mold-free. The recent hailstorms have caused massive damage, and many of these will go unnoticed for years, even though the golf ball-sized hail we just experienced in the Mid-South compromises even the best-built roof system. Whether we find damage or not, your photos are securely stored for future reference. Call Brian Elder Roofing today for a total evaluation of your entire roof system free. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. Call me at 901-867-0303. That's 901-867-0303. Or visit us online at brianelderroofing.com.
Make your next grill your last with a Big Green Egg. Smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill, all with a lifetime warranty. Save money on fuel, eating out, and replacing expensive grills that cannot match the flavor of the Big Green Egg. Ready to cook in only 10 to 15 minutes with temperatures below 200, above 700, and anywhere in between with ease. Change your at-home cooking experience for life. Go to shop.biggreenegg.com.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at TriumphAutoSales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Don't miss out on summer brake deals at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get 15% off a set of Brake Best Select, Select Pro, or Import Direct brake pads and 2 rotors. Restore quality braking and improve stopping performance with parts and advice from the professional parts people. Save money now when you visit O'Reilly Auto Parts or O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Sportstime on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Brian Davis.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Spanning the globe.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
Brett, what I learned today, Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305, Pitbull, the 43-year-old singer, songwriter, businessman, he will now have the naming rights to FIU's football stadium. He is expected to pay FIU $1.2 million per year over the next 5 years to have his name on the home stadium. And with this, he will become the official entrepreneur of FIU athletics. He'll create a FIU anthem, which can't wait to hear that from Pitbull. He'll get to use the stadium up to 10 days per year. He gets 2 suites for all football games, and there will be Pitbull affiliated performers at all games. So a lot of excitement at FIU for Mr. Worldwide.
Would you believe I have Pitbull on iTunes?
Brett, I do believe. I mean, Pitbull is a hit maker, so that does not surprise me at all.
From 2011. That was the party anthem played at Busch Stadium during the 2011 World Series.
I love that. It's great.
How about that? Way
Pitbull.
to go, Pitt. Good job. What I learned today, final PGA Tour stop this week at the Wyndham. A playoff start next week, of course, at TPC Southwind here at the FedEx St. Jude Championship. But good luck for the Wyndham this weekend, maybe with that weather. I hope they can get that in Greensboro. Can't imagine where our tournament would be without FedEx flexing its muscles and stepping up for it to be designated one of the playoff spots, because since the U.S. Open, except for the Open Championship and the Olympics, the tour's played in anonymity this summer.
Yeah, no, it absolutely has. And speaking of the tournament, another thing I learned today, I saw earlier today, Jason Munn's reporting that a handful of Tiger basketball players will be out at the tournament next week, signing autographs, taking pictures as part of their NIL
to
deal
introduce
with FedEx.
themselves.
Absolutely, because a lot of newcomers to that team, so that will definitely be fun to see them out there. Brett, what I could have done without, oh man, I've been waiting to get to this story ever since we started the show. I guess today the Arizona Cardinals had a media day at the stadium where they debuted a lot of new things, a lot of food attractions that they have in the stadium, and they debuted part of 50 new food offerings, the cotton candy burrito. I love cotton candy. It's great, but I don't think I would like this. It is a massive burrito made out of cotton candy, and inside of it, I'm trying to look, it doesn't say exactly what's in there, but just glancing at it, I see Fruit Loops, I see M&Ms, I see sprinkles, I see other things that I can't quite tell what it is, but Brett,
I see a trip to the cardiologist.
I mean, that is a big burrito. That is not a small burrito.
No, that's a lot going on
that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, I think that blocks up a lot of things.
I'll pass on that. Hard pass for me.
Might taste good, but is it worth it? I could have done without Daniel Jones starting abroad. Dan Dimes, nobody can hit him anyway, and he knows that. Just imagine Eli Manning in the middle of something like that. There's no leadership with the Giants. It's none with Dayball. It's none out of the front office. It's none at quarterback. They've had, before Eli Manning, they had Kerry Collins got them to a Super Bowl, and then Eli Manning's run. One playoff win for Dan Dimes, one.
Oh, man, it's got to be a big year for him. It seems like they were all in on him in the offseason, decided to take him instead of going for a quarterback at the draft. So, Daniel Jones, it has to be a big year for you. Where are you beaming tonight?
Pittsburgh, the best of all the new ballparks. And it's not so new anymore, I say that, but it is really, really nice to be there in that setting. Dylan Cease has been smoking lately for the Padres. He goes for the Padres in Pittsburgh tonight against Bailey Falter. Cease 4-2 in July with the no-hitter on the last day of July 31st.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good baseball games tonight that I've really been looking forward to. Let's see. Beam me. Wow, this is tough. I guess beam me to the game that's already started. It was a 5:40 first pitch between the Diamondbacks and the Guardians. Eduardo Rodriguez, who was really good last year for the Detroit Tigers, he'll make his season debut, his Diamondbacks debut tonight. On the other side, the Guardians, Ben Lively, and that Guardians team with a 67-45 record. A really fun game between those two teams last night. Should be another good one tonight.
Cardinals bats are really, really quiet. Sonny Gray about the only hope tonight against Tampa Bay. Milwaukee and Atlanta against the Braves. That's kind of the Hank Aaron Bowl. And Clayton Kershaw late for the Dodgers as the Dodgers are hosting the Phillies. I'm still not worried about the Phillies, but they better be glad they don't have anybody right on their heels.
Yeah, no, it's definitely good that they built that large lead, because last night I thought, they were going to be able to break out of this slump. They go up 2-0, but still not enough against that hot Dodgers lineup. Everybody will be keeping an eye on what happens in Oakland tonight, see if the White Sox can break that losing streak or if it will be number 22 in a row. I'm sure going to be another night with a lot of available seats at the Coliseum, because last night was, honestly, Brett, it's a little impressive how empty that ballpark is.
If you ever want to sit by the on-deck circle, now's the time to do it.
Well, yes, now's definitely the time. You'll definitely be able to get seats available, I'm sure, for a good price. I'm sure they're selling for a really, really
Might
good
pay
price.
you.
Wouldn't that be something? Get paid to go to a Major League Baseball game, because nobody wants to go. Some other good games tonight. Giants and Nationals, I think, will be interesting, with the Giants now back up to 500. Hayden Birdsong, the rookie, going tonight. He's 3-0 with a 2.97 ERA. Interested to see what he does tonight. But a lot of good action in Major League Baseball. A lot of good stuff today in the Olympics. I know a lot of people will be watching that tonight on NBC and those networks. And then tomorrow morning, a lot of good stuff in the Olympics before we meet again. But that's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.